the other one, not organized chaos.
Actual fandom.
Here's the thing. Okay.
Kristen says, Ben, let's see your guns. What is with all the questions with the guns? What?
What about it? Are you asking? What?
You've read Amazing Fantasy number 15, right?
Bring organized chaos.
Yeah. Guess what? What you just did was a lie. How much does Glenn Beck pay you?
Content is slander. Well, I'm built like a goddamn brick.
Not a lie. Bring organized chaos.
I'm not going anywhere. I just fucking relaunched. For Cannon's sake, I'm not playing around. Get over it. Like my haters, man. It ain't there. But these guys are so fucking invested in my failure, right? Got these gay ass dudes. It's just shocking.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
A bunch of people are scared of something that isn't actually a thing. Forced diversity. By suggesting that diversity is forced, you are saying that this is diversity in places that it shouldn't be. And therein lies the problem.
There's a comment that says that it's not the same as progress. It absolutely is.
Oh, yeah.
So if woke is not progressive, then it's conservative? I'm trying to figure out the angle with that. Which one is it? Stop listening to these channels that are making you more stupid. Turn them off. Do Google. For God's sake, download ChatGPT. It's going to give you better answers than all of these fucking awful channels that make money off of keeping you stupid.
I have. I have. Come. I have. Come.
Hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I have to go.
Right, you do that. You sprinkle it on. It adds a little like spice, actually. You sprinkle it on. You guys adds a little like spice.
How's that?
Yeah. You guys should try it. Whoa! What's that? Oh, that's a shit. Why don't you go and subscribe to it? I dare you. I fucking dare you.
That's a shit.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
You guys should try it. What, like the thing where you like, right? You do that. You sprinkle it on top. Adds a little like spice. It comes. Wait, why did it stop? Oh, what the fuck are you looking at? Subscribe and like this video. Back to it.
It doesn't even make any sense!
The thing that I've done that's been the most mild thing, the least political thing that I've done, the least controversial thing that I've done, or should have been, was launch a fucking comic book company. Who would have thought? Who would have fucking thought me launching a comic book company? Fucking mad.
Bingo! I will find him. I will find him, Mara.
So good.
I will find him!
Don't try to understand it, just feel it.
The product of my semen, my sons!
Ryan Johnson, man, he doesn't know how to fucking miss. He just doesn't miss. But yeah, neither does this guy. Or this guy, both of them.
What? Huh? What? Who? That? What? Huh? I'm sorry. I just went to the bathroom and I missed.
That's okay. It's okay.
Apparently, he did miss. He went to the bathroom and he missed.
It was bad.
I know, man. Like
I don't want to talk
Ryan
about
Johnson
it.
gets so much shit, Daniel. It's crazy because everything he puts out it's just gold. So
He does have a really good track record. Let's be honest.
Hey, those were some based clips, by the way.
Yeah.
I wonder who made that. I wonder who did that.
It was Ryan Johnson. You saw the credit, DJ.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if in case you didn't see. Hopefully everybody's got their dicks up for the DC universe today, man, because you know it started. The whole thing started with just these dick rockets flying into the sky, and you know, and it just got better from there.
Those were the times.
We and Bob were talking yesterday. Honestly, if it had stayed at like roughly Man of Steel level, I'd be pretty fucking satisfied. I think.
Looking back, so many people gave me shit about liking that movie, even though I've admitted there's issues with it. There's a lot of issues with those movies, but I enjoyed Man of Steel, and if that would have been the vibe, it probably would have turned out a bunch of really good movies, even with some divisive stuff in it.
Yeah, no, I'm like a lukewarm defender of Man of Steel. I enjoy it, but like it is flawed as fuck. But yeah, like as far as the DCEU as a whole, it's probably higher up on the list.
They committed. That's the thing, is a lot of movies. If you do something like with Superman, and you go, I'm going to change Superman, but then by the end of the movie, you're like, well, fuck that. I'm going to go a different direction. They didn't. They were like, this is our version of Superman, and this is the way he's going to be throughout the movie. It was consistent at the very least. I mean, even if you didn't like it.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of it is influenced by inspired by the Earth One. I think it was called Earth One series, which is actually drawn by a Comicsgate shithead Shane Davis.
Ooh.
Okay. And it was it's generally kind of the same plot where it's like a young I mean a lot of it has to do with him in school and stuff. There's much more emphasis on him, learning to be a regular person kind of thing. And then the alien race that's actually instead of being Zod and Kryptonians, it's the alien race that destroyed Krypton that has tracked him down and finally found him, and they're like wanting him. But I mean essentially it plays out the same way where he's like not sure if he wants to come forward and make himself known so that he can defend the Earth or whatever. Yeah, but I wonder if you guys ever noticed that there might be like some Jesus imagery going on in that movie or something. I'm not sure.
In Man of Steel? I don't know if I have
really. I don't know about that one.
They were very subtle.
You gotta have a real close eye on that thing, you know.
It was very subtle.
It definitely carried over into BVS. That's for sure. A lot of it in BVS.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't have the same defense for Batman v Superman Ultimate Edition. I guess it's better than the theatrical, but
it's better than the theatrical. That's the only reason. It's like because I had the same feeling at first when I first saw because I wanted, dude, when the Batman vs Superman trailer dropped, I swear I was like, and it's still maybe one of my favorite trailer experiences. I was like, holy shit, this is gonna be fucking everything. And then and then it was what it was. But then the Ultimate Edition came out, and I was just so happy to see Clark Kent being Clark Kent for a couple of minutes or something. You know what I mean? That I thought that in my mind for momentarily, I was like, it's good. It's a good movie now. It's great.
I mean, killing off Jimmy Olsen was so weird though. Like right, like at the very
and that's something that's pretty much exclusive to the Ultimate Edition because they never name him in the theatrical edition.
Right.
Well, I don't know if you guys saw, but I did have to pay some tribute to the Fallen in there. It's right here.
Yeah.
Dicks up for the Fallen.
Yeah.
Good old Robin. And I also found where and I never noticed this, but he's wearing short. That was a short pant costume. That Robin costume.
Oh, was it?
Really? I didn't even pay attention to that.
And so I found where an artist had done a recreation of what it pretty much seemed to look like. Let me find that real quick. But it's
I mean, what was hilarious about that Robin costume is everybody was asking Zach, okay, which one is it? It's Jason Todd, right? Jason Todd. And Zach was like, Decade. No, that's Dick Grayson. Dick Grayson's dead. And it was just like,
why?
What? What universe? Why would you kill off Dick Grayson of all the characters? What?
So there'll never be a Nightwing, apparently.
Apparently not in the Snyderverse.
That's an interesting look, honestly. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean,
yeah. I feel I think it's maybe a bit of a clash. It's going for obviously I think it maybe works better in the artist drawing. I think in real life it wouldn't work at all because it's like a darker aesthetic, but obviously it's borrowing a lot from the early Robin costume.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it is because the top half of it looks very modern, but then the bottom half goes into the classic. So
yeah.
I mean, without the short pants, maybe it'd be something. Sure.
I think the Robin costumes from the Titan show was really good. Like those versions, they were pretty solid.
Yeah.
Especially the Tim Drake Robin suit, the one in the final season. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but that one was really good.
Yeah, Pillars made some bangers just on that topic alone.
Yeah. Well, it's one of those things where you can make him Jesus if you want to. I mean, there's plenty of parallels, but it's not. It's obviously not what the writers were intending.
It's not the most interesting thing about him.
Forcing it, Yeah.
Well, I mean, the weird thing about it is that when it comes to the DCU, we get that Man of Steel where they're doing that story of this is what he would be like if he was just a regular guy who became Superman and found out about all this weird shit going on. And I was down with that, regardless of whether or not people liked it. I was like, okay, I'm committed to this story. Then we get to BVS, and now he's Jesus Christ, and it's like, how did we get there? Where's that story at? Did that happen over a month?
That's one of the main flaws of I could be on board with what happens in Batman versus Superman. I really could. There's nothing that's in the movie that if something had been done to set it up that I would reject it necessarily. Even Batman being responsible for murders and shit. I could get into that if we'd had any time with the Batman that we know, right?
Could you imagine a Batman movie where he's dealing with the struggles of murder and not murder? That would have been a really cool fucking movie.
It's he's the guy that we've known before, at least one movie where it's we know for sure this Batman at one point was anti-murder, right? And now he's feeling like things need to change or whatever, and it's oh shit, that's compelling,
I mean, that could have been a great character arc. Have him be anti-murder and then have him just kind of lose it, kind of cross that line.
There's a reason why I crossed. And Robin looked like a Watchmen costume for sure.
Oh yeah, I mean obviously.
Anyway,
there was. I feel like Zach had a lot of good ingredients in his DCU, and it just he didn't have anybody to cook them. So it was we have all these ingredients. Where's the cooking at?
That's what's so frustrating about it. I hope anybody doesn't think that I just wanted to poke fun at the DCEU because I like taking swipes at it. I'm a Marvel guy or something. Yeah, I prefer Marvel generally, just weighted on how many characters I like and stuff like that. But DC, I want to be good. I've always wanted to be good, and it's just been frustrating from the start. There's like a lot to like about it. The casting was generally really fucking good, except for a couple big swing and miss. But like Henry Cavill, it's fucking great. Like it's tragic that dude never got the Superman movie he deserved to be in.
Dude, I think he could have been a great Superman. He just never had the great material.
Technically, he was Superman for as long as the MCU was. Like he was Superman, like from like right after the Avengers. So yeah, it's crazy.
Is anyone else hearing that?
Yeah, it wasn't me.
Yeah. Who's got a member there? Is that Bob, your channel?
I just looked up. It's not me. So it's one of you two.
Oh, must be DJ.
Oh, well, here it is. Multi-topic talk with a member chat says BVS had great ideas, but a victim of. So I agree I think this is the problem with what happened with the DC.
Yeah.
They came out with Man of Steel. They saw the success of the Avengers. I'm guessing Man of Steel, that they were filming that while Avengers was in post-production, and then Avengers came out and Man of Steel came out, and they're like, oh shit, the Avengers was a massive billion-dollar movie, and we have the Justice League, so let's rush to the Justice League. I believe that's what happened. So
it's like they watched the Avengers and they're like that epic scene where they're all in the circle in the middle of the city, and that's just like this iconic instantly. It's like we need a scene like that, except somebody's looking at emails.
Well, I mean, if we want to talk about the core issue of the DCEU, it's probably studio interference, and I think. Yeah. I mean, I'll be blunt. I think choosing Zack Snyder to run the beginning of the DCEU was a bad call. I personally I like the idea of Zack Snyder being there, but like I want him to be like reined in by somebody.
One of a few voices,
yeah.
People don't understand, and I think we know this, and maybe they do understand. They just don't want to admit it. Movies are typically made in the editing. Like that's where movies really come together. Is you could shoot 1,000 hours for 30 minutes of footage. If you don't pick the best 30 minutes, then you fuck up the whole thing. And
True.
I do believe Zack Snyder has a very lucrative business model. Make a bad movie and then remake that bad movie, but slightly better, and then everybody loves it. That's his
like, that seems to be what's going on.
What he does. So
yeah, so I can't wait for that director's cut of Rebel Moon. I haven't even seen Rebel.
Oh,
Moon
you can't
yet,
wait for it? Oof, oof, oof.
Yeah.
I haven't watched
you haven't seen it? Have you seen it, Dane?
I haven't seen it yet.
I've watched it twice. I've watched it twice. So
wow, that good, huh?
Well, no, I watched it once and I fell asleep. So I was like, I had to go back and watch it again. But yeah, it was it's a experience. I would say it feels like the first act of a really long movie, but it's a full movie in itself. Well, that's pretty much what it is.
Ouch.
There's no pacing. I mean, the plot is almost non-existent. There's no character development. You don't learn anything about anybody. The action scenes are bad, which Zack Snyder typically does really good action scenes, but not in this one. In this one, it's really bad.
Really?
The green screen is very obvious in every scene.
Oh no.
Okay, so imagine that. Have you ever seen like the bobbling heads and green screens? Sometimes it happens with Marvel, but not very often, where the head's sitting there and you can see like the background sort of shifting.
There's one moment that stands out in Civil War, like right before whenever Captain Iron Man are talking right at the airport when they first meet up, and Iron Man's head kind of
But imagine that, but it happens through the whole movie. That's kind of what Rebel Moon is like. It's and this was $160 million project, basically. So I don't know what the fuck happened.
Wow.
But
I mean, I guess it's just like it kind of seems like the producers at Netflix just don't have the same standards of quality as like a traditional studio in some ways.
Yeah.
Is that unfair, you think? Like,
I don't know. It's the worst Zack Snyder movie I've ever seen.
Worse than Army of the Dead.
Ouch.
Worse than Army of the Dead. Yeah. I'd rather watch Army of the Dead than this.
I was really disappointed about Army of the Dead.
I lean like what would be my worst Zack Snyder movie? I lean towards Sucker Punch, but not the director's cut. The director's cut is a significant improvement.
Sucker Punch, I can't call it bad because it fucking looks amazing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Sucker Punch visually is exciting. Like there's a lot of individual scenes. Like okay, so story about Sucker Punch. I was working at a club when that movie hit DVD, Blu-ray, and they would play it with no audio, like on the big TV on the wall.
That would probably work great.
And people were like, they would say, some of the people at the club were like, "Oh, I love that Sucker Punch movie. It's so good." I'm like, "Go watch it with the dialogue." And they did. They came back. They're like,
oh, that movie was fucking crazy and awful. I'm like, exactly. It's much better if you're just watching the fight scenes, especially like when they have the mech samurai scene or whatever.
Yeah,
That's a dope
the
scene.
giant.
Yeah,
the giant samurai,
Okay.
the World War I stuff. Like, there's some the dragon shit.
Yes.
When the trailer came out for that, I was just like, legit, like that's another Zack Snyder trailer that I was just like, holy shit, this is gonna happen. Oh my god.
And
Like,
Rebel Moon is nothing like that. There's almost no fight scenes in Rebel Moon. I think. And there's lots of graping stuff, like from the very first 15 minutes of the movie. You get it there, you get it later on with the gay character, you get it later with like another military character. It's throughout the entire movie.
And we know Zack Snyder handles these things so gingerly and so
no.
You know what I was noticing when I was editing that thing last night, and I was thinking about all the characters. I was like, what all characters got killed off like really, really quickly? And it was like Robin and Jimmy Olsen. And I'm just like, is it coincidence that these are two characters that traditionally aren't seen as like masculine, you know what I mean? In the same like way that and then of course Kevin Costner's Pa Kent, you know, he basically just gave up and died, and you know, it's like, is there something to that? You know, is it maybe even subconsciously on Zack Snyder's
I believe Zack Snyder has two ways to build stuff in his movies. One of them is essay stuff, and the other is killing off characters. Those are the two things that he does most prominently in his movies, where it's like, I need to build some sort of threat or tension, and this is what I'm going to do. Because that, like, also Rebel Moon, slow motion. 90% of the movie is slow motion. It's slow-mo. Like, there's a woman.
It's not fight scenes?
No.
Slow motion.
So this is no lie. There's a woman standing there, and she's got grain in her hands, right? She's got some grain in her hand in a little bag or whatever. And they do that shot of the grain falling out of her hand in slow motion for no reason. It's just slow motion. And that happens throughout the entire fucking movie. Random pointless slow motion.
Legit might be the best thing that he's ever shot is the opening sequence to Watchmen.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, what you're describing, DJ, reminds me of the barista scene in the director's cut of Justice League, where for some reason we need to stare at Lois Lane getting her coffee made, to get the full impact of what's going on in that moment.
I mean, there's a lot of that in Rebel Moon. Also, I think, I don't know if it's the case with all of his movies, but Zack Snyder was the cinematographer for Rebel Moon. And that might have something to do with the way the visuals look, because I think maybe he's a visionary, but I think he's had other cinematographers work with him on all of his other projects.
Yeah, he's not a hands-on technical guy, but he wants to be.
Yeah, the fight scenes are dog shit. There's not one good fight scene in all of them.
Nope, I don't really generally watch Moist Critical, so no.
Hopefully he didn't contradict everything I said, because that would be annoying. I think a lot of people have felt the same way I feel, except for the extreme Snyder shills that are like, oh, it's the best thing ever. Can't wait for the R-rated version.
That gets a bit much.
Well,
the Snyder fans. Oh my God. That was the first group that went after me. Not because I dislike Zack Snyder, but because I have criticisms and don't think he should be
I would love a different version of Star Wars that feels more like magic and stuff like that. I think that's a great idea. The problem is you have to have the right people in charge of that. And I don't think Zack Snyder is. But look, maybe Netflix wants to keep throwing money at him. Maybe they'll just keep writing checks for him to make movies and stuff like that. Maybe that's what they'll do if they've got the money to waste.
Eventually, right? Like, somebody has to finally be the one to go, no, look, we've let this happen too many fucking times. It's like,
well, I mean, with Christopher Nolan talking about how Snyder's got his DNA all over everything. It's like Snyder doesn't own anything specifically. He just has a lot of little small things that he's known for. Like, he didn't invent slow motion. He didn't invent slow
overused it to death.
I mean, like, let's be honest here. He didn't invent any of that. He didn't invent saturation, which also Rebel Moon, no color. It's like in sepia all the way through it. Sepia, however you want to say it, all the way through the entire fucking movie.
That's weird.
Wow. Yeah. Zack Snyder's classy.
I'm surprised Gail Simone loved Rebel Moon. There's no writing in that movie. It is bad.
I think Gail Simone plays politics a little bit sometimes with her opinions. I feel like that. That's just, maybe that's projection. Who knows?
Because she's a great writer, but
right. And she's like got very good analysis in some cases, or most cases, and then sometimes like this. I'm like, wait, what? You like this? But I haven't seen it, so maybe I will too.
I would love to hear what your guys' opinions are on it. I found it to be very, very, very just boring. I mean, it really was boring.
Well, I mean, since we're already talking about new movies in the DCEU, Aquaman 2 just came out.
Mm-hmm.
I saw it over the weekend. It was kind of a mess, especially in the beginning. It's a bit rough.
Oh, come on. It's a mess through the whole thing, though. So not just the
true,
beginning.
true. I mean, it's a mess through the whole thing, but like the beginning is really rough.
Yeah.
Like you can tell, like, I'm pretty sure you haven't seen it, Dan, but you have, DJ. Like the beginning feels like they're cutting around Amber Heard, like pretty explicitly.
Well, I mean, the thing is he a single dad? That's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like,
that's what it feels like.
Like, I get that they're trying to do this thing about him being the king of Atlantis and a father at the same time, and I think that's a cool concept. But
yeah,
he's also got a mother. Like, is she looks like an absentee mother. I mean, that's really what it is in the movie. It's so weird.
Like, she pops up a couple of times. It's just like when she finally speaks, like, oh, so she will have a speaking lines in this movie. Like, and it takes a while. And so much of it is just like,
because they're probably like, we can't have people thinking about her shitting on the bed. Okay, we can't have people thinking about that.
But here's the problem with that: when you do that, it makes the whole motivation for him to go after Black Manta is that Black Manta fucks up Atlantis a bit and almost murders her, and that's supposed to be the motivation of Aquaman to go after him. But the problem is the audience has no connection to her at this point because they've cut so much of her shit out. She's barely in the fucking movie.
Well, here's the real question. Does she have a British accent or not?
I don't think so.
I would have to go back and look at her 3 lines of dialogue.
I also want to point out, isn't it a little weird when you have two characters like Aquaman and Mera, who are both capable characters, and Black Manta is threatening another character who is arguably just as powerful as Aquaman? Like, why is that? Why does he have to save Mera? You know what I mean? Like, she's powerful. She doesn't necessarily need him. So that's another really weird angle. You're not going to go after my wife. You know, the wife that gets like basically a water witch, like that one.
Yeah,
the one who like is literally the most powerful water bending character in all of Atlantis. That one.
Well, it wasn't just how Mera was handled as well. Interesting. Nicole Kidman, she pops up in the middle of that movie, and it's like, oh, Aquaman's mom is in this because I think we barely see her in the beginning, and then she's
not. I don't think she's in the first act at all.
Yeah, and then she's just kind of exposition machine whenever they need random exposition to pop up.
Somebody said that it looked like she was filming for one day, like she was just there for one day, basically, which is kind of funny.
Which is more than Willem Dafoe was there for, because
because
they kill him off between movies.
Yeah, 0 days filming.
It's like, Jesus, okay.
How do you not bring back Willem Dafoe?
They I think probably a budget thing, and I'm pretty sure they just replaced his stuff with Dolph Lundgren.
Oh,
because that's what it felt like. It felt like Dolph Lundgren was playing the vocal.
Which, by the way, he was hard to understand in that movie. I don't know if it was the audio or something. Like
in that movie.
Yeah, well, I mean, just in general, though, it felt like his audio was in a weird filter. I don't know. When we were watching it, I was like, "What is he saying?" Because I didn't have that much trouble understanding him before, but in this movie, for some reason, it sounded weird.
I actually didn't catch that, so I don't know. It actually makes me a little suspicious of your theater.
Maybe.
It makes me suspicious of you.
Maybe. Oh,
got some kind of anti-Lundgren agenda here.
Yeah, I know exactly. I loved him in He-Man. Let's not go there. I love He-Man. But
He-Man is cheesy fun. It's bad.
Several people in the theater, because I went with a group of friends. We went on Christmas Day. We've got a new tradition now. We pick a movie that like some people don't know anything about, and then we just go on Christmas Day. So a lot of people didn't know anything about Aquaman other than the other Aquaman movie. That's the only one they'd ever seen. They didn't keep up with any of the Amber Heard stuff or anything like that, so they were very confused on why she wasn't in the movie. They were like, is there a reason why she doesn't have more to do? And I'm like, it's a long story. So I don't know if the studio just perceived it to be a lot worse than it was, because we talked about like The Flash with Ezra Miller, how much of the general public really cares about that stuff when it comes to movies. And I don't know.
I mean, I feel like the Amber Heard's Johnny Depp stuff was more prominent for sure than any of the that stuff. But still, it might.
I'll be blunt. I literally feel like they told James Wan or whoever the writer was, probably him as well, hey, we want a movie where we kind of sideline Mera. So he wrote a movie where like her injury is what motivates Arthur. And then after they did that and they set it up for that, they're just like, oh, and cut out around her as well. It's like, oh fuck.
One day somebody needs to document. I'm sure there already is somebody working on it or has like just a really in-depth documentary of all of the shit that went wrong in the DCEU. It's like a decade of just like, and that's why I have a lot of sympathy for it. It's not like I'm just going to trash it for the hell of it, but some stuff it did end up kind of funny. But like, yeah, just things out of anybody's control happen. You know what I mean? And it's just like, man, they seem to have bad luck sometimes compared
and
to
it's
the
weird because some of the movies in the DCU I think are just as good as like the best Marvel movies. I love Wonder Woman. I think Wonder Woman is amazing.
The first Wonder Woman, the Suicide Squad that James Gunn.
Yeah,
did,
the Suicide Squad is
amazing.
one of the best movies in DCU, and it
That's
got shit on. So
it's my favorite one.
I know there's more, but like, there's a couple of those movies.
Well, I think the first Aquaman movie is. I mean, it's not the smartest movie ever made, but it's a dumb, fun Fast and Furious movie.
It's a dumb, fun movie, and unlike this second one, the first one feels like a cohesive story. It feels like James Wan is just having fun with the character, and he's allowed to have fun with the character.
Well, okay, so here's the question. What the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Well, listen, we had to know Aquaman 2's box office would be bad. When he did that speech talking about how white critics, he doesn't care about white men and he hates white men. We just knew.
And the way he acted like such a bitch around the first Aquaman movie,
I mean, the other cast members didn't like him.
He didn't smile either.
Didn't smile, acted all self-confident, bragged about doing his own stunts.
He toed the line. He did all the woke stuff that they needed him to do. He did it all, and it still was not good enough because he was such a bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep, that's definitely it.
Oh man, I don't know how. Like, you'd think that some of these publications would at least half-heartedly try to take some shots at it so it didn't look so obvious that they're fucking biased for. Really, the only question in my mind is, what is the bias? Is the bias just misogyny, or is the bias just anti-Marvel?
I think that the publications, especially Variety, know that there's money in what's happening. They've been paying attention to some of these channels, and the channels, even though they're doing this, Variety's like, oh, we can, in the last minute, we can kind of latch onto that and get a bit of that going out or whatever at the sake of credibility, which is kind of what they're doing, and cash in on the Brie Larson hate, because there's really no reason. Like, Aquaman underperformed compared to Captain Marvel on its opening day, and not a peep from those outlets.
Nope.
Not a peep. And it doesn't really matter what it goes on to make. We're talking about the opening weekend, because that was what everybody hit the Marvels with, was their opening weekend, was how badly it performed. And that went on for over a week of just negative articles about the Marvels from major trades, especially Variety. I feel like somebody at Variety's dog got kicked by Brie Larson or something. That's the only thing that makes any sense. Because, I mean, I think somebody said they pulled up like 20 articles in a week from Variety. Just wow.
No, it's very telling.
Oh, look, there's Blurred.
Yeah, by the way, I'm gonna have him on the show Friday on Live AF Friday night. I asked him to be on for today, but he was not able to. He's not able to do Wednesdays. So if we want to have him on sometime, we're gonna have to work something else out, I guess. But yeah, Friday is gonna be on. We're gonna be talking about comics, talking about probably Aquaman. Definitely gonna be talking about his. He's been the target of some Rippaverse goalposts lately.
Oh, and, surprise!
Oh, yeah, I've never encountered that.
But as he says here, Aquaman 2 was the only one he did not enjoy. It had terrible pacing, was dull as dishwater in the first act. The movie seemed to want to be Lord of the Rings and Star Wars in various places and failed to be either. I'd never watch it again. The Marvels, I would watch. And
yes, I agree with that.
Yeah, no, like I made it clear I'm not a fan of the Marvels. I enjoyed it more than Aquaman 2. It felt more cohesive as a narrative. I like the characters more, and it's not that it's like Aquaman, because I actually do think I like Arthur. I think they do a decent job before him. But yeah, I like the characters more than the Marvels.
So is this Deadline? Is those two at the bottom? I thought it was, but then I realized that's an ad that says Deadline.
That looks like Variety to me. Maybe.
Okay.
Let me double check. Hold on. Let me see.
So, I mean, and this is a good example of, just how, like, even just framing the headline a certain way can change the reader's perception of something before they even read the article. Yeah.
No, it is Deadline. It is. I'm double checking. It is Deadline, actually.
Okay. So yeah, I mean, like the Marvels is a miss with $110 million dollar global lowest ever for DC. Like that's even completely not even necessary to put in the title, the headline, but they threw it in there. You know, and then Aquaman, it's framed more like a positive thing, swimming towards $100 million.
Right. Yeah. But this is why I've complained before. People are like, "Why are you shilling for Marvel? Are you like what is it?" I'm like, "No, I want a constructive way of framing this that doesn't feel like there's an agenda at place with like making something bad." Because people that read these articles are going to go, "Oh, the Marvel sucks. Like, I'm not going to go watch it." But then if you read the article about Aquaman, you're like, "Oh, it's going towards 100 million. That means it's probably pretty good. I'm going to go watch it." And it's like it completely it sways the reader. Those headlines sway the reader. There's a lot of headline readers. I kind of blame Facebook for that.
Yeah.
I believe Facebook was the beginning of like, just read the headline, don't read the article. And it's kind of crossed over into YouTube and other places. Like you can tell if somebody comes to our videos and just reads the title and then leaves a comment. You can tell because of what they say of the watch time on the video. But here, clearly, they're trying to frame Aquaman as being like the sleeper hit and the Marvels as being a dud. That's the framing here of these two titles.
Here, and
I mean,
and just to introduce raw numbers into this, Marvel's opened to 46 million back when it opened, and let me pull up Aquaman. Aquaman opened to 27 million.
Right.
I mean, obviously, there's both these movies are underperforming massively.
So both of them need to be discussed in similar contexts. Like,
exactly.
It's wild that they're so different, and I don't know. And it's not like Jason Momoa is unpopular or something. I guess maybe that has something to do with it.
I want to point out also that Aquaman, like the Marvels, didn't get any real promotion. And people have to understand that. Like DC and Warner Brothers pretty much just offloaded Aquaman 2. They didn't even have a red carpet for it. They had like a little small gathering, like a little party or whatever. There was no major opening thing for it. And, like they literally were like, we just need to put this out and get it over with. That's really what it was. The international trailer was garbage. The trailer for, I think it was the Chinese trailer, was really good. That's the one that should have been the international trailer, but they released the international one instead. It just wasn't promoted. We have to understand that there is a consistency with movies that are underperforming and the studio's not having faith in them. It's very obvious. And I think that's a bigger conversation than the Marvels was woke. That's why it failed. And then let's ignore why Aquaman didn't fail, because clearly that's not those two things do not align with those movies. Like being woke or that one thing doesn't align with the two movies. Whereas the thing that does is the under promotion of it and the studio's not having faith in it. That's the one thing that works in favor of the argument of studio meddling. Also, I think Aquaman 2, and we didn't, I know we're not totally talking about this, but it's very clear that they redid the entire third act of that movie. It's very obvious. So
that third act. Yeah, no, like I was giving a bit too much credit. You're right. The third act it felt very rushed, and
yeah. Well, I mean, I heard the original third act was some CGI monster fight, and it didn't perform well in test screening, so they went back and reshot some stuff and wanted to do something more emotional. I don't want to spoil the ending, but
which I get, but it's they've been relying too much on the CGI monster fight, but at the same time, it really did feel like it was building towards that too. And then for it just to be over, it's like, oh, okay.
I want to take a guess at what the ending.
But
I want to take a guess at what the ending was, but I don't want to do it on stream so anybody can get spoiled. But
I don't know if it matters. It's the conclusion of the entire DCEU.
So I know that and I just learned this like yesterday, that the plot involves Orm actually and working with Arthur. They're working together.
Yes. Yep.
So at the end, does Orm turn on him again?
No.
No.
Wait. Are we doing spoiler talk? I mean, I'll tell you what it is if you want to know.
I honestly don't know if I'll ever watch it. So
okay. Well, everybody, I'm going to do a 3, 2, 1 countdown. So
slight spoilers to a not great movie that I would
3,
recommend.
2, 1. Orm is the best character in the entire movie. He has the best story from beginning to end. He's the only character with any real storyline.
Yes.
And at the end of the movie, the Black Trident has been possessing Black Manta throughout the entire movie, making his motivations seem less significant because he's controlled by some evil
Mm-hmm.
being that used to be the Lost Kingdom, and Orm picks up the trident, and for like maybe 3 minutes of the movie, the evil force is controlling Orm, and then that's it. He doesn't really
But I mean,
turn on Aquaman. But
I mean,
Okay,
it's
but I
worth
was
noting,
kind of in the ballpark.
you are,
like,
yes.
Okay.
it has to fully control him too. With Black Manta, there was always this sense
Yeah.
that it was just mainly influencing him. With Orm, it had to take full control.
Okay.
So it seems
Spoilers
like,
over. So no, never
spoilers
mind.
over.
Yeah.
Man, Patrick Wilson and James Wan,
Okay.
they have a good relationship, huh?
I want to say this right now. In the movie, and if you go see it, I wonder if everybody will feel the same way. Once Orm is wearing like his battle suit, like in the middle of the film when he's like ready to go out or whatever, he is Aquaman. He looks like Aquaman. He acts like Aquaman. He fights like Aquaman. It is so weird how much like Aquaman his character is next to Jason Momoa, who feels like a clown character. By the way, I also want to point out Jason Momoa in the movie goes full like clown mode. Like it is Jason Momoa throughout the entire film. It doesn't feel like Arthur. It doesn't feel like Aquaman. The very end, we get Aquaman back, but through the bulk of the movie is just Jason Momoa being Jason Momoa. That's pretty much what it is. Whereas Orm actually feels like Aquaman, which is really fucking weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
Link Mario Samus, what did Brie Larson say that was even dumb? I mean, like, yeah, of course celebrities have said dumber stuff. As far as I know, I don't really know of anything super dumb that Brie Larson has said.
Here's what I'll say. Like, there was that time when Brie Larson was hawking fuck, I can't even think what it's called.
NFT?
The crypto coins. Yes, NFTs.
Oh god.
Yeah, that was
okay.
dumb.
That's pretty dumb. Pretty fucking dumb.
Yeah.
The funny thing is NFTs have crashed and burned so hard. And I said this before they even started. Several people yelled at me, no, it's the next big thing. I'm like, it is a scam.
Yeah,
it is a total scam.
Yeah.
I saw
I held that position the whole time. I actually got emails from several people wanting me to promote their fucking NFT scam. And I was just like, no. Fuck your NFTs.
Crypto bros are so cringe. Like it's just cringy.
Yep, and that stuff's you notice there's no, I don't know, man. I don't know how you can still be on that train. Of course, there's a lot of trains that are still going, and I don't know how they are, especially whenever there's one train in particular. It's kind of a big one, and apparently it kind of stinks. I don't know if you guys heard about this, but it's a stinky train. And this guy, his name is Noah Castler or something. He used to work on The Apprentice. And he's made some comments before about having worked with Donald Trump, and this one, it's pretty graphic.
Is not a joke. It depends. Diaper Don is trending, but it's based in reality. He would often soil himself on The Apprentice set. He's incontinent from all the speed, all the Adderall he does, the cocaine that he's done for decades. All that stuff has a laxative, and it has an effect on your bowels, and his are uncontrollable. He's
What is that quote about? I was asked you to tell me what she said that was dumb. Not just like quote a random quote. That's not a dumb quote. That's pretty basic. Pretty good.
I mean, that's literally just her giving her opinion. She's allowed to not care what white dudes say about A Wrinkle in Time.
And I kind of support that sentiment to a degree,
Just like I don't care what Chud say about me.
I'm literally a 40-ish-year-old white guy, and like I wouldn't expect certain people to give a fuck what my opinion on A Wrinkle in Time is.
Yeah, no, listen, man. Wrinkle in Time came out. I hate it. I did my review of it, and I moved on. If
I didn't like it, I didn't like it either, but it's not.
Yeah.
It wasn't a movie made for the. I wasn't the target audience for that film.
True.
So
I think the dumber take is the one that's like, oh, you don't care what I have to say.
Yeah. What, like somehow you think you're entitled to have her care about what you say about Wrinkle in Time? I don't get that take at all.
I mean, I think the nuance of that statement is totally lost for a lot of people. The statement was made because there isn't a lot of Black women critics in the industry. And she was saying that we need more diversity in the critic space. That was what that quote was about. That is an actual, a 100% true statement. There are the critic space is dominated by white men. It just is. That's a reality.
Yeah. I mean,
can't even deny it.
And we can go into the social issues as to why that is, but like, it's a bunch of white guys who give their opinion on movies in general. Note the panel, but it is what it is, and she's just pointing out that hey, maybe we should give more opportunities to people who aren't that.
True. All right, back to this awesome story.
Worn diapers since probably the 90s, but I saw
Damn.
it firsthand in the 2000s on Celebrity Apprentice and late 2000s, and we'd have to stop the show and change him, you know, and that was Keith Schiller's job. He would take him off set, he would wipe him down. Our nickname for Keith was Wet Wipes. It's not a joke. It's happened several times. You've seen it happen while he's in office. You've seen he was in the Oval Office with Erdogan, and you could clearly hear him sort of evacuating himself.
Oh my God.
He did it in front of
Oh
Senator
God,
Feinstein,
I'm gonna rewatch Prince.
Dianne Feinstein at a press conference.
I remember that one. I remember because I remember even thinking I was like, that wasn't really a fart. Come on, some people are being silly with this. You know what I mean? But maybe it was.
So he does it, and he almost sits there like and unaware of it, you know. And one time I saw Ivanka have to go kind of whisper in his ear, and then Keith came and took him off stage. He'll also do it in a rage, and this is where it gets really drug related. He'll start to freak out. You know, one time there was the word arbitrage on a cue card, and he started screaming that the script department was setting him up. You're setting me up, and he just freaked out, and then very loudly evacuated his bowels, and you could smell it, you know, and the guy was holding the boom mic, you know, was tearing up. So that's where the nickname, the SHIT show came from. That was the crew nickname for Celebrity Apprentice. So when you hear Diaper Don, it's not a joke. He tries to hide it. I'll give you one more fact. If you look up the video of him when he was doing the WWF thing, he tackles a guy on the ground outside of the ring, and you can clearly see the outline of the Depends in his pants. And that was back in the early 90s. So he's lost control of his bowels. He's lost control of his brain. That's who he is, Diaper Don.
I feel like that was the early 2000s, not the early 90s. Maybe I'm wrong on that. When he was doing the WWF stuff. But either way, man, like, holy shit.
I'm Googling it right now. I know.
I'm not really surprised about any of that. I mean, that sounds pretty accurate to me.
I remember watching a video by this guy right when one of my first YouTube videos was like a little meme thing. You know how I like to do those sometimes, little meme videos.
You doing memes? No, I don't know anything about that.
And they're always fucking hilarious, and they're always great.
Yeah.
And anyway, but like, yeah, there was one where I found a video of that guy talking about how Trump for decades has basically just crushed up and snorted Adderall all the time. And I was like, holy shit. And you know, like the it's not like it's just some guy saying something, you know. He used to worked on The Apprentice, and then he's like giving details that seem legit to me. That just like, man, that's pretty specific, and like, I don't know. But yeah.
Did you find it, Bob? The scene?
Yeah, I'm seeing it. Yeah, I'm kind of seeing, and it looks like there's something behind his body.
Oh God!
Hold on, let me.
Jeez.
By the way, can we just everybody
great,
appreciate?
Yeah, we can.
How
actually,
how fucking crisp, how crisp and great Bob's fucking camera looks today, man. Fucking looks great. All right.
Did you get new internet,
it's not
Bob?
really my camera, but
it's the lighting.
Huh?
He's got lighting.
No, it's. I actually have my monitor. I have an additional light right now, and that's probably what it is.
Okay.
But like, I hate saying this. You can look at his butt and see there's extra bulk there.
Yeah.
Oh, there is 100%. Yeah, unless he's got a weird like BBL.
Yeah.
Oh, there's been a lot of videos and stuff like that, and pictures and stuff. Let's see.
So yeah, it checks out.
Yeah. I mean,
that's pretty funny.
Like, I mean, if you just Google Trump diaper and look at the image search, there's a lot of them that are, you know, of course, there's going to be some that are fake, and they're. What happened?
No, he's gonna Google it.
Oh. Some are fake, you know, some are just memes and jokes and stuff, but then there's some of them like you can remember that moment that he was standing there or whatever, and.
Most of it's of a float.
Yeah, some of it. Like there's if you look at the golf pictures, man, like the you know, there's one fake one where there's somebody added some poop or something. That's not real. But the bulge in his pants is real, and we're not talking about, you know.
Yeah, I mean, his God damn it, I hate saying this. His butt has always seemed bigger than it should be, and that would definitely attribute for it.
Well, I did see how I saw a MAGA person was like kind of gave an explanation about why Trump's kind of shaped the way he is, and let me see if I can find that.
Like a potato with legs? Is that what he's saying?
No, that's
Yeah.
mean. See if I can find it. But yeah, I don't know, man. It's I hate to be talking about the guy this way, but who gives a fuck? Like, he's a complete piece of shit. And he's got a good chance of becoming president again.
Although it's getting less and less likely with the he was taken off the Colorado ballot. Not that I think he had a good chance in Colorado, but
no, he has no chance. But I mean, if other states do it, if their Supreme Court okays it, and then they keeps going, yeah. But like, I kind of I really think the best thing to do is for him to actually lose, though. Of course that gets us closer to the risk, but like, I don't know, maybe that doesn't matter. Maybe it doesn't matter. He could lose 50 times in 50 years in a row, and his people would still be like,
well, the thing about it is, whether they take him off or not, he's just going to claim everything was rigged. I mean, that's the reality of it. It doesn't matter if it is or if it isn't. He's just going to say it anyway. He's already doing that now. He's astroturfing stuff already. So
I'm getting too distracted looking at Trump's bulges.
Okay, so here's the explanation for why he, like, you ever notice how he stands as well? Like, how he stands is fucking weird. This is it. That's the explanation right there.
Sure. Yeah. That tracks.
Yeah.
100%.
Insane Cope is right.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm sure he has the 6-pack too, just ripped.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can't even see it because his dick's in the way, but yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Don't you hate that?
It's a problem I have to deal with. I get it, man.
Yeah,
I
it's frustrating.
It's a blessing and a curse.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. I think that's what we were just talking about. He should have his pants a lot.
Yeah.
Whoops.
Yeah, well.
I mean, yeah, that would be the best scenario for sure. That would just be.
Yeah, I just don't think they have a big pool to pull from. That's the problem.
I don't think he's going to run third party, and even if he did, well, actually, I don't even think it's an option because, like, I think, like, if he's in the Republican primary, he's going to win it. He holds that base. I just don't see anybody else pushing him out of the way. And we've been
there was this fucking surreal moment, and I don't know if it was the last debate they had. I don't pay really attention. I just saw a clip from the debate where it was like Chris Christie and then DeSantis and all these fucking idiots are on there, and Chris Christie goes to him for whatever reason, and he's like, look, can we just say what everybody, the elephant in the room, which is that the elephant that's not in the room, and he's like, none of us here are going to win, like none of us are going to be the nominee.
Right.
We need to address the fact that like, why are we up here saying this? Why are we, doing this? And it's like, he was making great points. Chris Christie was fucking.
I mean, the fact is that if he's the only obvious choice, then it's a cult.
Yeah. He doesn't even have to show up to the debates. And they're like, yeah, it doesn't matter.
That's what I mean. Actually, I truly believe that if Trump just stayed home and did tweets all day long or whatever it is, he would still have the same support he has if he went out and did his rallies. It'd be the same. I don't think that the only necessary thing with that is he sells cheap ass merch at these rallies and gets people to pay for shit that that he's promising them. Oh, buy this thing; it's going to be worth all this money later on. These fucking trading cards or whatever the fuck he's selling now.
NFTs he was selling for a while. My concern, my fear is my biggest fear, I suppose, is that the legal stuff, the everything that like rightfully the Justice Department is going after in the district, Southern District of New York, that these are actually helping him. You know what I mean? Because like you think about chuds that we deal with, it's the same thing with him and with Trump and these chuds. They all depend on a victim narrative to an extent, and so that they can conquer it. And just having a conflict, they need to be persecuted. They need to have that persecution narrative that they can fucking. And it's like, oh man, it's riding the line. Not to say that they shouldn't go after him. They should, but it's just this is the problem with fascists, guys. Is like there's almost no way to address it that is they're not going to manipulate and exploit.
Well, I mean, I've watched the clips of the people that support Trump and the stuff they say, and I'm just like, they're not even living on the same world that we're living on. No. It's really just that I will say that between the Tea Party stuff, QAnon, and Trump, a lot of people's lives have been fucked up. Like the people that are following that and into it, their whole lives have been fucked up by this. It's done irreparable harm for a lot of those people, a lot of those families. Like one side of my family is very much big into like this conservative shit, like this Trumpism stuff. And I can tell you right now, we will never, ever be the same. Our family will never be the same after this.
Here's a fucking shitty thing. I may never talk to my dad, see my dad again.
Right.
And I tried like several times where we would try for a while and I'd tell him, look, Dad, we just can't talk about any of this stuff. Because we would get into it and then we'd argue and then I would end up saying something that pissed him off and made him say something really fucking shitty. And I was like, that's it, And so the most recently last time was like just a couple months ago when he was saying some shit about trans children and stuff like that. And I'm just like, Dad, no, here, please. I was like, please, Dad, read this information. He knows that I went to school for journalism. He knows that I know what I'm talking about, that I'm able to find information, in other contexts. He trusts me for these things. But when it comes to this, it's like, just read this, Dad, please. And he's like, oh, I'm not going to read that shit. And it's like, all right, man, fuck off then. He's saying pretty egregious shit. And I just told him, I hope that we can figure this out. I hope you can figure this out before it's too late, man. Because, and I can't be far from the only one. Other people with way worse situations, in fact. At least he's not QAnon.
Right. Yeah.
Like, who doesn't help this situation?
What is that?
This guy.
People that voted for Biden that are doing it now. They're like, what did I do?
Right.
Like, what did I choose? Like, how is this guy?
Yeah, you just can't listen to an interview where he's saying some of the stuff he says that just makes no sense at all. It's like you can't listen to those interviews and feel like you made a good decision.
Why do they never say anything specific?
Right.
Yeah.
It's always,
it always drives me nuts. I would love citing examples. Let's look at the example. Maybe I would agree with you, but it's all these generalizations, and generally I disagree with what they usually say.
Actually, this clip is probably a big reason why they don't go to examples, because Joe Rogan does go to an example, and spoiler, it doesn't work out for him.
I don't know how
Did you hear what he said like yesterday or a couple of days ago? He was talking about the Revolutionary War. He's like, one of the reasons why we lost the Revolutionary War, one of the problems with the Revolutionary War was they didn't have enough airports. Yeah. Have you seen that?
I saw that. Like, what the hell?
Like, pull him.
It's crazy.
If you had any other job and you were talking like that, they would go, hey, you're done.
A few moments later.
I want to point out that's the important part of that statement where he says that if you working another job and you did something like this, they would fire you. And that is the important part, because when this reveal happens in a second, I think a lot of people misunderstand how dangerous it is, because Joe Rogan's podcast is massive.
Yeah, it's the biggest podcast by a huge margin.
It's extremely irresponsible to say something like that and then go on to be so wrong about what you're saying, but the damage has already been done because of what he just said. So here we go.
Later.
The same stable genius that said the biggest problem we had in the Revolutionary War is we didn't have enough airports. Whoa.
Well, notice that his fucking laughy McFucking fuckface over there is just laughing at his guest.
Yeah.
He doesn't even understand that. Like,
did he not even hear the first part of that? The same stable genius. This was him talking about someone else.
Joe Rogan didn't even seem to hear it, because his Jamie or whatever has to kind of point it, like walk him through it. You fucking brain fucking damaged. Anyway.
Yeah, that's it.
Whoa.
Right.
Just for the record.
Is that fake?
It's not fake, but he was referencing Trump saying that. Here's what Trump saying it in 2019. Donald Trump.
You can see the fucking neurons firing in Joe Rogan's head. And the thing is, like, he could fix this. He could make it responsible. There's one thing that he could do right here. Of course, he's not going to do it, which is to say, look, I said What I said about Biden, I believe it about Trump, which they should fucking pull Trump, hands down. Like get him out of there, like, but he's not going to do that because his fucking audience is full of these fucking gremlins.
Trump said something about that. He didn't say Jesus. He said a stable genius, and that's where the transcription.
Let me hear what it says. What did he say?
In June of 1775, the Continental Congress created a unified army out of the revolutionary forces encamped around Boston and New York, and named after the great George Washington, Commander-in-Chief. The Continental Army suffered a bitter winter of Valley Forge, found glory across the waters of the Delaware, and seized victory from Cornwallis of Yorktown. Our army manned the airport. It ran the ramparts. It took over the airports. It did everything it had to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So he fucked up.
Yeah, he did. But I feel like you can tell too. It sounds like a little different. He's like, you can tell he like messed up his words, but yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah, he messed up his words. That's what it is.
Right.
Biden doesn't do that. Biden literally has a stutter.
Biden should get disqualified.
Right. Biden literally has a fucking stutter and is like has a reason why he might mess up his words, but no. Fucking
dude, like I have so many issues with Biden, but like this is nothing.
Well, I mean, the thing about it is that whatever issues I have with either Trump or Biden, it doesn't matter when you have people like this that are just reframing stuff. Like that's the problem.
Exactly.
And Joe Rogan, his audience may decide who they vote on based on Joe Rogan, and that's the dangerous part.
That's holds a pretty big sway over his audience, man. It's kind of impressive.
Well, the deal is, I do know, and this is going to be really interesting. I think that his deal with Spotify, that multi-million-dollar deal, I think its renewal is coming up very soon. So we're going to find out if Spotify is going to continue to produce the show, because they're not just hosting his podcast. They're literally paying for the show to be produced.
No, they paid for sole rights to the show.
So that means when this re-up happens, we may see some bids for the podcast if Spotify decides not to do it. And I'm pretty sure we may have him back on YouTube again if that happens. He may end up back on YouTube.
I know. I mean, obviously Neil Young brought some heat, but like, it's Spotify's gotten some heat for Joe Rogan on there.
Yeah. But we'll see if we'll know for sure if he's as profitable as they believed he was, because if they don't renew it, that means that it wasn't as a good deal for them. So
yeah, he might be back to hawking fucking whatever bullshit.
He might be selling coffee soon.
No,
dude. If you've ever watched Joe Rogan podcast, it's been a while, but that thing is so laden with ads, it's ridiculous. And that dude makes so much money just on the podcast alone. He doesn't need to do ads, but dude, he sells his soul for a penny, I swear.
Well, I mean, elk meat is pretty expensive.
True.
So I got CJH Entertainment there. It's important that we kind of keep things in context. I mean, intuitively, I would agree with this. Intuitively, I would think, that's fucking, of course, most normal people would fucking not go. But then we look at some polls, and now, granted, polls aren't always accurate. They haven't been super accurate in recent years, recent elections, but still it's a thing to look at. Biden's hit a new low at 34% approval, 61% disapproval. Okay. And Trump is still, got a good amount of support.
Yeah. Well, Trump does get the advantage of not having to actually govern right now, so he can just go out there and say whatever shit we'll get.
But I mean, even still, like Biden's governing is, like we say, there's fucking problems with Biden, but the economy generally has been on an uptick. Like a lot of the stuff that they normally, and yet people believe that the economy is doing poorly. So.
Well, I've seen pictures of the Joe Biden pointing at the gas pump, and it says, "I did that," and it's like the gas prices are super low. So it's
I know.
Funny,
I love seeing those old stickers when the price has been going down. It's like
it's just funny.
I mean, honestly, he should be taking credit for it because they blame him every time it goes up. It's like, dude, the gas prices are so much, but sure,
it's the gas price thing is just such an example of how fucking stupid people are media wise, because like the gas prices are influenced by so many factors globally that to think that the president can just put his finger on a button and make him go down or something.
I've seen clips where people blame Biden for everything. They've even said that he's not even president, that Obama is basically making all the decisions and he's literally just doing what Obama wants him to do.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just really dumb fucking takes. It's just so stupid and frustrating at the same time.
And then just as a little bit more context. So Trump shared a poll, I guess yesterday, on Truth Social. And the poll is people associating his second Trump term with revenge. That's the wrong one. Let me see.
You mean people that want to vote for him are doing it because of revenge? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, which
I mean, that's how he got elected in the first place. Trump was revenge for Obama. That's the only reason he got elected in the first place. So it's not shocking that this would be another revenge vote. I mean, that's literally how he got in office the first time.
There was some polls recently that basically said that, you know, there's a lot of Trump voters who have flat out said now that they'd be okay with a fascist Trump dictatorship. Like, you know, I think it was Laura Loomer basically was like, no, actually, I thought about it and I think it'd be fine. You know, I think it'd be better than what we got now. It's like, holy shit, man. We got to keep these people from having their hands on the lever of power. We have to. So yeah, don't be complacent. Do not be complacent. Do not.
The fact that they're actively and openly talking about electing someone that they believe could be fascist and being okay with it is fucking wild. It's wild to me. Fair enough if you want to vote for him because you just, you know, you're a bigot. Like, even though I fucking hate that shit, at least then you're, you know, you're trying to, you're speaking with honesty. Like, voting for somebody that you think is going to be a fascist just for revenge. Come on. That's
true. Biden has been, in a lot of ways, the most progressive president we've really, in, you know, context considered ever had. You know, definitely in this century for sure. He's been the best president for labor that we've had since, I don't know, when was the last president that was good for labor, Bob? For the workforce,
maybe Carter.
Yeah. So you know, and he's like made deals with the auto workers and all kinds of stuff. Like,
essentially, with the exception of the railroad workers, which I really disagree with him on. He's been very good for labor and unions.
I would love for us to have a president that was born in the 70s. That would be kind of cool. Or like 70s, 80s, somewhere where I don't feel like they're going to fall apart. I mean, every president we get recently, with the exception of Obama, is frail. I'd like to have a president that doesn't feel like they're, you know, they're your best china in your house or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I just.
Like, I want somebody going to be okay.
Look, I don't necessarily agree with everything that Biden's done, right? I don't. But at the very least, Biden is not actively trying to take rights away from people. That is, like, I vote primarily on social issues. So I'm going to vote for the candidate that has the best social record. That's how I vote. And so for me, he's not actively right now trying to take rights away from women or minorities or anything like that. He's actually trying to do something. They haven't done anything significant, but they're also not trying to take anything away. So for me, it's like, if I'm voting for the person that's doing that. You know what I mean? And I just wish we had a more active president that was actually doing things socially, doing things culturally, going out there and being present. And I just believe that both choices, Trump and Biden, are too old to be that active. And it's really fucking frustrating.
And the other angle that's like, you know, the main thing that's really been affecting Biden lately is Israel. And it's good. He has not been doing great on that at all. And like, in fact, you know, he makes it, that's the thing is, it's like, of course I'm going to vote for Biden, but he makes it hard for me to want to fucking like go out and fucking endorse him and just like, you know, sing the praises for what he has done well, because like, God damn, dude, like, can you fucking, you know, just say genocide not good, please?
And you can't even withhold your vote on moral grounds, because the Republicans are not going to do that. They're going to vote for Trump regardless. So if you go, I'm not going to vote for Biden or Trump because I'm just going to like boycott my vote or whatever, you can't do that.
I mean, I hate to say it, but when you do that, you might as well just be voting for Trump.
Right.
I mean, that's the end result.
Look, that's the fucking place we're in right now. It's why
I don't think this is ageism. I think there are certain times smirking going whenever like the concept of ageism just kind of doesn't matter. And I think this is it. because we're talking about the leader of, the country and the free world is said over and over again. But like, whenever literally something can happen to him and he can just die because he's fragile. It's not ageist to say that. It's a fact. It's not good, man. And then,
I also don't like having that word thrown around. I didn't say that someone his age cannot be president or that I would gatekeep them. I said I would like to have a president that is younger, because I would like someone that is more connected to like modern culture and modern sensibilities. I'm not saying that he should not be elected for that reason.
I mean, I brought up this graph, and I think this breaks it down pretty nicely. So you have essentially the House and the Senate broke down by age. The issue isn't so much that like, hey, we have old people in the House and Senate. That's fine. The issue is how much they have. Like, look, like most of the House and the Senate appear to be in the 60 to 69 range. That is huge. That is kind of on the old side. Average age in the Senate is 64 years old. Average age in the House is 58, and that went down recently. It was higher.
A lot of this is because of term limits not being a thing for a lot of these positions. That's the problem.
Well, and then you factor in the. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I even have like term limits are an interesting thing to bring up, because then you have like people like fucking what's his name, Mitch McConnell. He's been there forever. He needs gone. He's harmed our country.
And I don't think it's wrong to be like, you've had 50 years working in this job. We need someone else to come in. And I don't care. I don't care if it's someone who's only 10 years younger than you. Someone else, anyone else that has a different point of view can come in and do the job, please.
Like, what has Mitch McConnell done for the people of Kentucky ever, or in the last 5 years? You know what I mean? Like, how much has he done that's actually for the corporations of Kentucky? Probably quite a bit.
The oldest people here. It's insane.
The fact that like as the older you get, the more just generally people become more conservative as they age.
Well, these are people who grew up in different time periods than we grew up in. Even me, I'm pretty much middle aged at this point. The Senate is way older than me.
Well, that's the thing. I've looked around, and my generation, will say like the mid 40s to the mid 50s. We are so underrepresented in so many parts of the government. And the problem is that the no term limit thing and people living longer in general means that there's no space for that representation to come in, because there's no position for those people to move into. Because how do you compete with someone that's been doing it for 40 years and you're just coming in first year campaigning? How do you do that? There's no way.
Exactly.
And they've not only got the experience, they've got the kind of ingrained like network of support that's going on.
And honestly, that's why we have such a big divide in society in terms of culture and understanding the differences in like people in their 20s and 30s and people making the laws, is that gap bridging generation that should be there, which would be like my age and slightly younger than me, like I would say mid 30s to like late 40s. That generation that bridges that gap of like, maybe we should try something different socially or whatever. It doesn't exist when the majority of people in those positions are in their 70s. That doesn't exist. So you have a person in their 70s trying to make decisions for people in their 20s.
Yeah.
That the math doesn't math. That doesn't work. It's a completely different world. The people in their 70s have no idea what people in their 20s are dealing with on a day-to-day basis. They just don't know. I don't even really know that. I know some people in their 20s, but I don't even totally understand it.
Well, then you get like, things, society is moving faster now than it ever has too. So like technology and just like our understanding of things and of people is going really, really, really fast comparatively to how it did before 30 years ago. And like, so when it comes to technological advancements and like the implications and consequences of those things, and then it comes to like the fact that, transgender science, right, is becoming more understood now. And like, it's now fully embraced by the, medical consensus that like, affirming is the way to go. But then you've got these people that grow, are like 70 fucking years old. They don't see the value in that. They don't see that as important. Like, we should maybe actually work a lot harder to stop this attempted fucking trans genocide that the Republicans are doing. Yeah.
True.
And I want to point out, this also affects like regular everyday people in the sense of like jobs and stuff, because I know a lot of people in my life who have been at a certain position for a while, and they can't get promoted up because the top end is still full of people in their 60s holding those jobs that don't want to retire because they can't.
Right,
Because
that's
a lot
the
of them
thing.
don't have the safety net to retire. So
I was going to say, it's not necessarily that we should blame the old people, because the old people are living in this fucking economy too, where there's like they don't have a fucking parachute, they don't have a retirement plan anymore.
I mean, that's one of the disadvantages to cutting Social Security as much as they've had. They keep on cutting Social Security, and that's kind of the point of Social Security. Just you've done your deed. Retire,
like if we had a president who's like no cap, son. Like if they did something like that, I think that would be hilarious. Honestly, that would be so
that'd be awesome.
Can I pull up something quickly? I want to bring something up.
Absolutely.
Digs up for DC.
Yeah, you know. So this was posted. Are you guys familiar with Jason Whitlock at all?
Sounds familiar.
So he posted this right here. It was a Kansas City airport. It says men, women, and children in all caps using same bathroom at KC airport, diversity, equity, and indoctrination, which again, I don't know how indoctrination plays into an all gender bathroom at an airport. But he was making it seem like it's a big, like stalls, not stalls, but like just urinals everywhere, completely open. People are going there. And then Justice Horn, who is the chair of commission in Kansas City, says he helped craft this policy in Kansas City. These are single stall, and he shares a picture. Single stall, all gender bathrooms that allow for greater privacy, to make you also aware the bathroom on the plane and the bathroom at your home are single stall, all gender bathrooms as well. So he's basically calling him out, saying your picture there frames this as like an anti-trans, anti-gay thing. Damn. When we've actually made each individual stall a room with a lock on it where you can go in. Like if you look at those are completely closed off. They're not, you can't look over the top, you can't look under the bottom. And all of the bathrooms in the airport now are like that, which means they're cleaner, they're nicer, and they're more secure. And so this is the kind of shit that we're dealing with when we talk about these grifters, is the framing of it. He took that picture specifically the way he did so he could make this outrage post. And then when he gets called out on it, he doubled down and acted like this guy, Justice Horn, was, oh, don't pretend you weren't doing this for gay people and blah, 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 and all this other shit. It's like, you're still going to double down on this? You lied. We're not even going to go to the next step. You lied about what you were showing. And this is the kind of thing that, like, we talk about politicians or people with these podcasts and stuff, misframing stuff and anti-trans, anti-gay stuff. This is the kind of stuff that we have to deal with all the fucking time, are these misrepresentations. This is just bullshit. And
I mean, I was just going to add, we know it's complete bullshit. We know it's absolutely bullshit, because the fact is all gendered bathrooms have existed in pretty much all public spaces for a while. They're just called family bathrooms.
Right.
Family bathrooms are all gendered. Anybody can go in them.
Yeah.
But they don't have outrage of that for some reason.
That's funny.
I wonder why.
But I just wanted to bring this up for a second. We don't have to like dive into this or whatever, but Jason Whitlock is one of those like grifty guys that like always post stuff to try and get, you know, views and clicks and stuff on it. But the thing is that he will never experience physical violence because of stuff like this. But this kind of stuff makes it so trans people and gay people experience physical violence because of stuff like this. So it's like they throw this out there, they don't give a fuck, they rake in a little bit of money off of it, and then they just forget about it because nothing ever gets solved. And I've said this about these other grifty guys. They present problems, but never solutions. Like you want a solution for the bathroom issue that the conservatives have. This is a common sense solution. Individual stalls for each person. And even that isn't enough for them. That means that they don't give a fuck about the bathrooms. And everybody needs to be clear on this. It's anti-trans, anti-gay rhetoric.
I don't know if I'm cool with this all stall thing, because I don't know. I love urinals. What I love about urinals is that you'll pick a quiet corner and all the stalls are empty. And then you get a random guy who decides to go.
Yeah, I want to come over and have a conversation. Yeah, I know. I hate that shit.
I love it. It's
you
so
love that? I hate
weird.
that. Don't
It's
talk to me. I'm just
amazing.
trying to pee and get the fuck out of here. I don't want to
Hey, Bob.
I love the awkwardness.
Yeah, that's. I'm glad you enjoy it, man. Somebody has to.
Bob is that guy. We'd be over in the corner. Here comes Bob. Hey, what's going on,
Hey,
guys?
dude, what's up?
Respect
How's
my
the stream
space, man.
going?
You only use that urinal when all the other ones are taken. We know how it works.
Guys, like, shut up, Bob.
It follows me everywhere. I can't avoid it.
How do you know my name?
Oh God, that was
Oh,
so
it's that
awkward.
guy. All right.
Oh my
well,
God, Sketchy
do
Goes
we want-
Jason is the type of guy that would look through the gap in the stall. Oh gosh, no.
Oh shit. Oh,
That's
ooh.
that's creepy.
Yikes.
Where are we going next?
I was gonna say I have the. Do we want to break down this comment I had? It's interesting.
Yes, we do.
This kind of shows kind of what this type of shit does to a person's brain when they watch media, and it's kind of amazing just breaking this down. But yes, so this is a person who's talking about the last couple Marvel movies and about how they are not male-led, apparently. So Scott is reprimanded for having saved the world and done nothing else of note while his daughter randomly comes up with that quantum device. All three women firmly put Scott in his place on several occasions. Steven is sidelined in his own sequel. The plot runs through Wanda. Steven is instantly on the run. His morality is questioned because he saves trillions of lives the wrong way, while Wanda poses a threat to the entire multiverse. He doesn't even get to defeat her. She does that by herself by collapsing the temple on herself. Hawkeye may not be looked down upon or turned into a laughingstock outright, but he is the one crying ice skating with Yelena, and while Kate, a non-powered rookie hero, sometimes best the powered iteration of Kingpin, who at least 120 pounds on her. Add to that Clint not being able to overwhelm Echo after keeping pace with Chitauri and Ultron drones before, and you got yourself a dumbing down, scaling back of competency for the sake of plot. I'll give you Star-Lord and Thor, although the latter is needlessly sexualized, which doesn't have to any female protagonist.
Wowzers. Well, this guy.
Yeah, there's a lot to break down.
The world that this guy lives in sounds fucking terrifying.
I know. This is this is how you watch media. Like, you can't watch media like this. This is not functional. I don't know how else to say.
Somebody said, "Why does Bob get the weirdest comment?" Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, I get all the winners in my comment section.
Anytime we're like, "Oh, what do we do for content?" Oh, go to Bob's content comment section.
It's right there.
But just to address kind of like the overall claim about this real quick. So right here we've got Phase 4 total screen time breakdown and comparison between male and female characters. Some Chad did this, or Stacy, I don't know. Total screen time were for both genders. There we go. Overall male, 2,370, 39 hours. Overall female, 31 hours. Percentage of overall screen time, 55% male, 44% female. And then you get a breakdown of each movie. And so, which one did he mentioned? What? Doctor Strange first, or no? Ant-Man, Quantumania.
Yeah, he brings up Quantumania first. Which, I mean, if you've seen it, Scott is the main character in that movie. There's no real arguing around that one. The Wasp, who is in the title, is like the fourth most important character in the movie.
Maybe he didn't.
Well, his daughter is more important than the Wasp is in that movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I'd put like his daughter and Janet, and actually maybe even Kate ahead of the actual Wasp.
For Doctor Strange, as it's clear, it's a male dominated movie, literally, male led, literally. You got 62 minutes of the movie are Doctor Stephen Strange, and then 29 minutes, less than half, is Wanda.
But he apparently she was the main character of that movie. Apparently.
Somehow.
The main antagonist was the main character. Okay,
right. And then like this whole she gets to be she's the villain, and then she also gets to defeat the villain. It's like, oh.
I mean, she started out as a villain. I don't understand. Do they not remember how we met Wanda? She was a villain in Age of Ultron.
True. Yeah.
That's not. Let's not do that, CJH. Let's not do that. Cool. Thank you. Don't do that.
Wanda, to not understand Wanda's story in the MCU, which is a very dumbed down version of the comics, because in the comics she's a much more layered character. But in the movies, they tried to do sort of what they did in the comics with like this up and down with her, where she's kind of evil, but then she's kind of a gray character. Then she kind of is a good guy, and then she kind of goes back evil again. They kind of try to do that in the movies.
What they did in the movie that's different is that in the comics, she was never really evil. She just kind of had mental health problems. And they made that like, oh, she's the villain because of that. With this, they kind of are walking a line a little bit, and like, yeah, she's got some trauma that has influenced this stuff, but then it's causing her to make these decisions that are like, using the dark arts and shit like that, that then corrupts her and makes her evil, kind of thing.
And that's also to address that comment as well, is having her make the decision to end what she's doing not only speaks to how powerful her character is supposed to be, because we know that she's supposed to be that powerful, but it also speaks to the fact that they wanted to give her own agency because she is a character that people love. And to have Doctor Strange kill Wanda would have been really fucking awful for his character to deal with after this movie. Like, think about the repercussions of this, but with him and everybody else around him after this movie, having to kill off Wanda, because there's no other way he would have stopped her. There's no other way.
Well, I brought up before, if you want to attack this movie because Wanda is the one to end herself, then literally you have to do the same thing for Spider-Man 2. That's what Dr. Octopus does. Spider-Man reached out to him. Dr. Octopus.
And you want to argue about sacrifice as well. We talk about Tony Stark. Tony Stark did the same thing. He sacrificed himself for everybody else. So
that brings up the thing that I got into actually an argument with Matt Jarbo on Twitter once about this, that because he was saying that Wanda kind of gets the same thing that Sitch was saying in that debate we had with Adam and Sitch, where they think that Wanda kind of gets a free pass, that like she gets forgiven for all the shit she did in like WandaVision or whatever. And it's like, well, first of all, no, she didn't, because if you watch this movie, she's clearly like in hiding more or less. And Doctor Strange is not going to arrest her or whatever, but like he's very conscious of the fact that she has some stuff going on. And like, no, so you think about how many people Tony Stark is responsible for having killed before he becomes a hero. And like, yes, he does redeem himself, in my opinion, and probably most people kind of feel like, yeah, he did enough to kind of like write off that debt, I suppose. But at the same time, it'd be totally valid to say that it's impossible to. And then Wanda, the shit she does was not like, she wasn't profiting. She wasn't mindfully like, I'm creating some situation that's going to definitely kill a bunch of people. She had trauma, and she was traumatized from childhood from guess who? Tony Stark. And like, with the fucking missile with his name on it in her living room. And then like things didn't get better for her from there, and she got exploited by Ultron. She gets, her brother gets killed. It's just like this a string of fucking bullshit that she didn't ask for, she didn't choose. And really, the fact that she became a hero at all, it's kind of a fucking testament to her character, that she's actually a good person. And whenever
you should do a video about this, you should do a whole video about this.
That the moment in Age of Ultron, whenever Hawkeye gives her that talking to, it's one of my favorite moments, because it's just like
it's a great moment.
It's great.
I'm a dude with a bow and arrow.
I will say, like I've argued this for a while, Wanda has one of the most interesting story arcs in the MCU.
She does.
It's very unique.
Mm-hmm.
I like to think
the one. Oh, go ahead. Is there something on Wanda?
Yeah, I was just gonna say I like to think that maybe by like Secret Wars or whatever, that it's gonna really come full circle. She's gonna kind of be in like a almost like a leadership role or something.
Probably.
Something real quick I'd really like to address. Thor, although the latter is needlessly sexualized, which doesn't happen to any of the female protagonists. Real quick, rewatch Iron Man 2.
Yeah. Black Widow is treated as an object for most of that movie.
Yes, very much so. Hey, she gets her badass moment in that movie, but like, Tony Stark's talking about, oh, hey, I need to order 2 of those, He's looking at her in underwear and shit like that. She's getting sexualized. It's not hidden in that movie.
She killed a lot of people. But I'm not saying that she didn't. What I'm saying is that how many times have we had a conversation about all the people that Tony Stark has killed? Like, it almost never happens that people talk about that aspect of him.
Doctor Strange's decision basically killed half of the universe because he gave the Time Stone to Thanos. So there's a little bit of that weighs on him as well, which is part of what he deals with in that movie. That is literally the debate that Wanda has with Steven. Like, that's the argument that they're having, is why is it you get to do something and people don't think of you that way, but I do it, and all of a sudden I'm the villain. That's the commentary in the fucking movie. Like,
And they
it's
have a
almost like
problem
this
with that.
person didn't watch that movie.
They have a problem with that, the commentary. Butterman Pickle, I don't think you meant IRL because we're talking about IRL, but like, yeah, as the saying goes, hurt people hurt people.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Winter Soldier. Winter Soldier's another one that got redeemed.
If you and not like how what's her name on Archer took that whenever she heard it, was like, oh, hurt people. Like, no, not like that. But like hurt people who are hurt other people around them until they get their shit, worked out and resolved.
But the problem is, though, I think a lot of the Chud channels, they keep arguing that the movies, especially like the mainstream films, don't do enough to flesh out characters and make them interesting, right? They say that about villain problem or whatever. Then you have Wanda, who is playing the antagonist in this movie, who is a very, very, very well fleshed out character. And they still complain about it because for what reason? What possible reason could it be they would be complaining about Wanda versus another character who's well fleshed out? I can't put my finger on it. I mean, it could have something to do with her being a woman, but I don't know if that's the only reason why.
I don't know. That seems unlikely.
Wait, are you saying some of these guys will go out their way to attack women?
Maybe.
Huh.
I mean, maybe this guy seems like he has an issue with that. I don't know.
Well,
the Hawkeye thing is also weird because it talks about about Kate, or where does it say here? Hawkeye may be looked down upon because laughingstock is on ice skating with Yelena and Kate, an unpowered rookie hero who somehow bests his powered iteration of Kingpin, who's at least 120 pounds on her, right? So what would be the opposite of that, right? So Kingpin kills her. That would be the opposite of that. Tell me what world that makes any sense in the narrative of what the show is doing. In what way does that make any sense? You could argue that she's a rookie hero, whatever, but isn't that the hero's journey in every movie? Like the hero's journey, especially when you're talking about the beginning origins of a hero, they beat a much more powerful villain. That is how they establish themselves as being a hero. That is every hero's journey story that has an origin similar to this, where you come into it, you're this unwilling superhero who has to face against odds that are insurmountable against you and characters that could beat you or whatever. Somehow you manage to win. That's the story. That's how it happens.
I mean, that's very common. I mean, I think DJ just pretty much described every single James Cameron movie. I mean, that's a very common story that's told throughout.
How did Jake Sully do everything he did? He was against all odds. He's in an avatar body he's never been in. He does all these amazing things that no other soldier's been able to do. He beats every single military guy or whatever. He does all of this with nothing. Everything is a montage. So to have a character come in and do that it's not unique to Kate. It's not unique to the show.
Yeah, does he have an issue with David and Goliath? Right. Like, I mean, that's the thing is you look at this and what it is, and it doesn't matter what would happen in the movie if there's a woman. I mean, essentially, the way this guy's brain is programmed at this point, he is going to write the rules as he goes.
Yeah.
It's completely arbitrary.
Now,
it's the same reason why, like I've said before, like if EFAP, if they can judge things objectively, then why don't they just write a book or a documentary, like do a series of tutorials that they can charge a shitload of money for? Here's how to make the perfect movie. Why don't they do that?
Or dismantling all tropes. Do one video talking about just the tropes in general and not each individual film.
And they can't because they're making it up as they fucking go. Because it's whatever they need it to be at any given moment. It's like, oh, we need to say this sucks. So here's the fucking post hoc justification for that.
I mean, just looking at this comment, we're looking at somebody who just his brain's been warped by this content. I don't know how else to describe it, because this is just like he's watching the movies, looking for things like this. Like when I watch a movie, I like to look for little things like themes, ideas. What's this story trying to tell me? And this. I feel like when this guy watches a movie, it's like, how is this movie putting down men? I'm going to look for evidence that's putting down men. That's how I feel like he's watching this movie. And
Duck
you're doing it wrong.
The thing Duck Shoes
wants to say.
The thing you're missing is that, yes, it started because of trauma. But what happened is the Darkhold corrupted her. So like at a certain point, it was no longer just about her acting out of her trauma. She was like literally the choice to use the Darkhold was a big fucking mistake. And that was, born of that grief and stuff. But then at a certain point, she's now just being corrupted and controlled by the Darkhold.
Because if you watch the movie, spoiler alert, the villain of the movie is the Darkhold because we see how it affects Stephen Strange in other universes. That is the narrative. You're seeing, oh my God, like, are you just people, no offense, Duck Shoes, but are people just completely illiterate when it comes to movies and stories? The point of the movie is showing that both Stephen and Wanda are susceptible to corruption from the Darkhold based on their personal feelings about things. Because they showed how Thanos was defeated in another universe by a Stephen Strange who had access to this magic, and he overstepped and they had to kill him because of this.
Okay, here's here's a real world example. Like somebody that, you probably most people know somebody that has gotten addicted to drugs or alcohol before and made some real fucked up decisions that maybe even hurt people because they were on drugs and alcohol. It's like they would not have done that. They never would have done that without the drugs or alcohol being an influence. But the reason that they chose the drugs and alcohol in the first place was because they were going through some other shit that put them on that path. And it's like, I don't know. It seems like people should be able to understand this stuff, but we got to address this one. That's a fun comment. I remember you guys on Sitch and Adam talking about punching down. Isn't going after a random commenter punching down. No.
Again, you're missing context. My point in bringing this up is that, like, this is what listening to guys like Adam and Sitch, what listening to them will do to your mind when you're fucking watching media. It just, you come up with all these crazy ideas. And also, I'm pretty sure this is a sock account we're looking at too.
Probably so.
Well, it doesn't. Look, I look at it a different way. For me, if you engage with my content and you leave a comment under my video, then I am fair to respond to you any way I want.
Yeah.
Because you have left a comment under my video. You've left a comment under something that I was on, a podcast or something like that. Now, if you leave a comment somewhere else that has nothing to do with me, and you are a smaller channel, a smaller creator, whatever, and you're just giving your opinion and whatnot, and it has nothing to do with me, and I just sit here and rag on you and rag on you, then yeah, we consider that to be punching down. But if you come on my videos and you leave a comment on my video, then I have every right to respond in whatever way I want to. That's the way I look at it for me personally.
Well, I mean, and also, what context do we talk about punching down on there? I'm pretty sure it was, talking about like
I wasn't on there, so I don't know.
Talking shit on trans women or something like that. Trans people, because they don't have any
about trans people or
social power. That type of thing. Like, and this is the kind of thing where, like, this person, the reason why you're able to have fake names on these platforms is because you can avoid any kind of accountability. This person's going to see no consequence other than, they might feel a little silly that we called him out like this if he ends up seeing this.
Also, there's no look, just be fair about this. This person isn't even saying who they are, so it doesn't matter. You could sit here and talk shit about this person all day. It's a faceless account that doesn't make any content.
Just like that comment is, and we should just move on from it.
Yeah.
But in case anybody saw that and thought that was a valid point or something, I just feel like we should kind of hit that real quick.
Yeah, he has a beautiful T for a picture. It's a beautiful face.
God, how did you watch that? Isn't that the 5-hour one?
Oh my God.
I can't do it. Look, some people like those really long essay videos. I can't do them. Sorry. If I ever make one of those, you guys have permission to never watch it. Just out there.
Yeah. It's
I can do like a half hour, maybe even an hour, but anything more than that, nope, not gonna do it.
Bob covered it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he was just looking for him to say racial slurs and stuff.
True.
That's all you did.
That's all I did. Yes, that's all I do. And whenever I watch any video, whenever I do a live stream, I'm just looking for people to say racial slurs. That's it.
Yep.
I'm not providing commentary towards the thing. I'm just
and Rags has something to say to you about that, sir.
I don't know. Kill yourself.
Oh,
I guess. I don't know. I don't know. I don't care.
Rag's thoughts are always great.
Yeah,
he's a well thought out fellow.
You guys see Star Wars Theory getting lit up over the use of Mark Hamill's likeness, making AI young Luke? No, I have not seen that.
Yeah, so Star Wars Theory made some video where he did like an AI version of Mark, and was not approved or anything like that. And again, this is where platform size matters. If some random dude on the internet did that, nobody would probably care. But Star Wars Theory is the biggest. I don't know if he still is, but he was the biggest Star Wars channel. Making content.
It's like 5 million subs, isn't he?
Yeah. So for him to do something like that is very irresponsible, and that's when size does matter.
Yeah. Mark Hamill called him out. Holy shit.
Yeah. Somebody asked if
Well, no,
Mark Hamill
essentially-
gave him permission, and Mark Hamill was like, "No, I didn't give him permission to do that." So
He's like, no.
3 million subs. He's at.
Lucasfilm had to pay me a
somebody
shitload
asked
of
Mark
money
Hamill,
to
"Hey,
use
did
my
you give
likeness.
Star Wars Theory permission to use your likeness? He was just no.
So it's like Lucasfilm paid me a shitload of money to buy my likeness for eternity. You didn't give me shit.
Look, I believe next year we're really close. We're just a few days away now, but next year we're going to see a battle between actors and individual people using their likeness. So we might see YouTube channels that are completely made of like AI Mark Hamill's or AI Samuel L. Jackson's or something like that. And there's going to be some sort of legal battle over that. I do believe that's going to happen. I feel like it's just around the corner. Because studios may have to abide by those rules, but actual content creators may be under a different set of rules. Because could you imagine somebody making like an Avengers movie with all of the likeness of all of those characters with AI and literally just putting it out on YouTube?
Well, should we talk about Midjourney?
Oh,
or do we want to do the perfect chud?
Yeah.
Do we want to, while we're on that kind of topic, do we want to do the perfect chud first, or I've saved the perfect chud for months now.
Oh, we can dive into perfect chud, but yeah,
Okay.
we definitely have some AI stuff to go into.
So yeah, let's not. I'm asking you guys to keep me reeled in on this because we could stay on this perfect chud for hours and hours. He is the perfect chud.
He is amazing. He is kind of perfect.
It's almost like I just wish that I wish he was a character on something and that it wasn't like something that really affected real life, and the fandoms that I enjoy, because then I could appreciate this guy, honestly. Like, I'd be like, yeah, you're fucking awesome. I hate you, but you're awesome. All right. So I have this folder called The Perfect Chud. Let me see when I created this. Just kind of out of curiosity. Tuesday, March 28th, 2023. That's whenever I took these screenshots. So you ever go to Quora? Anybody?
Yeah, I've been there a few times.
There sometimes can be some pretty interesting answers. Sometimes it gives you, I get email notifications for certain things. Like if you look for a certain thing on Quora and you sign up for emails, they're going to send you emails about that topic, and it's sometimes annoying. Sometimes you see something that's like, oh my god. So somebody had asked basically, what is wokeness? Like, what does it mean to be woke? And this was whenever, I don't remember what I was doing, but I was looking for the definition. I was legitimately looking for a coherent definition that, like, I could, I wanted to steel man it. I'm like, okay, so this is what woke is. Now I can fucking, either argue that, or maybe there's a point to it. Maybe there's some no, of course not. There's no coherent version of it. But so this guy, Bartholomew Cobb, definitely not his real name.
That's definitely a real name. I don't know what you're talking about. I named my children Bartholomew Cobb, all of them.
I ended up calling him the perfect chud because of yeah, you'll see. So he starts off with an explanation, a bit long-winded. It's several screenshots long. See, he's a traveling salesman, which means he works, not play. I yearn for that old-timey, outdated period of showbiz when caustic political graffiti and aggressive gayness weren't sandwiched between disdain for paying audience and overt invitations to sacrifice your baby to ball. Follow me at Cobb's. Okay, so we're not going to promote his bullshit, but I define woke as a ham-fisted political correctness, insertions of leftist propriety so blunderous as to remove you from the suspension of disbelief. And there's been plenty. And that would be enough. That's essentially like what that Mike S. Miller guy defined to me whenever he came on that one time and was like, it's what takes you out of the movie or whatever. And I'm like, well, but these things aren't objective. So what takes you out of a movie might not take me out of a movie. So what is it you're asking here? To have things catered to your specific ideas of what keeps you in the movie? But yeah, he doesn't finish. He's not finished there. Thankfully. Whoops. Thankfully, he goes on. Batwoman. It's a weird one to start with, but geez, let's tally the artless, left-wing, and obnoxious factors at play in this waste of celluloid. First of all, celluloid has not really been used, especially on TV, in quite a while. But that's neither here nor there. First, feminists said that she was iconic. Did they?
I don't remember hearing that, and I watched the show every
Batwoman. Like I've read some of the comic book back years ago. I haven't watched the show, So like I remember that comic book came out and they announced a show on it, and I wasn't super interested. And the only people I heard screaming about it were essentially the Chuds. That was it.
The only people I saw talking about it. I mean, DJ, you're more your alley. Like, was this a popular show to talk about, or?
I mean, it when it was announced, it was very like buzzy in the like Arrowverse sphere. Like everybody was excited about it. Particularly because a lot of people, I guess, they were a little apprehensive about Ruby Rose in the casting. They didn't think that she was going to do a very good job, but still, she was a pretty big name to be on a TV show at that time because she was doing movies. So to be on a TV show was a little different. Anyway, but I didn't hear anyone in my circle complaining about it. Like no one was complaining about it except for the anti-fan channels.
Was anybody saying how great it was? Like, oh, this is a great move for women.
Not at all. No, matter of fact, a lot of people were kind of bummed out that it seemed like we weren't going to get a Batman on the show because obviously they don't want to put Batman rights on in TV or whatever. But nobody was hyping her up as being like the best like female superhero of all time. Like no one was ever doing that. So
yeah, so continuing on, let's see, it gets kind of gross. I'll be honest. There's first feminist said she was iconic. At this point, every comic fan spit out his Fanta. Iconism can't be someone created 20 years ago and whose entire run of books was rejected by the fans of every titular character, especially. And look how much hyperbole, and just like this is another thing that Chuds do all the time when they're like, nobody wants this, everybody thought it was bad or whatever. They just like are really just this fucking childish assumption that everyone agrees with them.
I will never, and maybe somebody can explain this to me. I will never understand that nobody wants this thing, because even if that were the case, then why are you even talking? Like, if nobody wants it, it's not going to go on. It'll end, and it won't matter. Like,
or like in Snowflake and Safe Space case, like that whole New Warriors thing, like the left, the right, everybody was like, no, this is fucking garbage. Don't do this.
Right. Yeah. But I mean, I'm saying nobody wanted it or nobody asked for it. I don't think any project that's ever made of any value, or that it has to intrinsically be something that somebody asked for. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think that's the metric. So
who wanted Star Wars whenever, when it came out? Nobody, because they didn't
Who was asking for Guardians of the Galaxy? I don't think anybody was asking for that either when it came out.
There was like 7 of us that were thinking, that might work, but it might be kind of bad too.
I definitely wasn't one of them. I was like, Guardians of the Galaxy?
That's what I mean. Like this idea that something has no value in being made because nobody asked for it is one of the dumbest fucking things. I just don't understand that argument.
Nobody asked for a fucking Avatar movie. Nobody asked for a fucking Terminator movie back in the fucking 80s. Like, it's a weird argument. Yeah.
Here's where it gets gross. Okay. So she's Jewish. This is a nod to Bob Kane's, the creator of Batman's Jewish ancestry, but she's also Batman's cousin. I don't know how many families of old money you know, but oh so rarely would they allow themselves to be related to anyone but themselves. But her name is Kane, which means that's her father's Jewish name, which means her mother is the Shiska, which means she isn't a Jew at all. She's lesbian. Box checked. Tossed out of the army, oh brother, for being a rooter and snorter. Quick stab at the conservatives. Are you a rooter and snorter? What is that?
I'll look it up. Go ahead.
Oh, I think that might
be. I've not heard of it before.
It might be like I don't know. Are you getting the idea that this was? Sorry.
No, I was just gonna say it sounds like another thing that's actually bad, and they're just gonna say it's make fun of conservatives, and it's like, okay, if conservatives want to own that, go ahead.
I mean, everything fucking triggers them. So
I don't see anything about it. I've looked it up in a couple different contexts. I don't see anything what that even means. Rooter and snorter.
How about just root and snort?
All right, let's see.
Nothing.
Nope, nothing.
Okay, so he's just having a fucking. I mean, a lot of this is just this guy thinks he's way more clever than he actually is. So yeah, you get the idea that this is a ham-fisted lefty character.
Oh, could it be like saying he likes to fuck around or whatever? And,
I think that's what root
and they do drugs and they do drugs maybe.
Yeah.
No, I bet you. Like, is it maybe talking about?
Because he's talking about her, so maybe he's saying that she likes to fuck around. And she likes to do drugs.
Like maybe he's kind of. Well, maybe it's that. Maybe he's talking about like, I don't know, carpet munching. I don't know.
So because tossed out of the army, that's the story.
Whoa,
of the
Bob.
What?
Yeah.
So tossed out of the army. So anybody that didn't see the show, the show specifically, Kate Kane is tossed out of the army. So that could be what that is about. For being a drug user and a person that has sex, quick stab at the conservatives.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but they honestly, that's not a big part of the story, really. The context of her getting out of the army just aligns with another. Anyway, it's not a big part of the story. I don't know why they're even bringing it up.
When you're the perfect chud, it's the biggest part of the story.
I guess, yeah. It's like a 5-second conversation in the show. So,
and it's coming soon to my living room carpet, my dinner. But not yet. The writing staff was all female, and they promoted that. Bad move. Let's see a single example of what this table of female wordsmiths in their own gynecological grandeur created, shall we?
For fuck's sake.
The suit is perfection, says one character. It will be when it fits a woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which was cut out of the show.
Okay.
That was a line in the trailer.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? Everybody on Earth?
Well, the thing was, most of the people, including myself and many others, said that line was probably not going to be received well because it seemed like it was taking a stab at Batman more so than like men in general.
True.
But again, just like you said with Safe Space and Snowflake, most people didn't like that. That wasn't unique to like just conservative viewers. Like I feel like that was a line that a lot of people were like, that's just cringy. It was just a cringe line. But we can't have that conversation with people like this because they don't care about that kind of nuance. They have whatever it is they need to do, and they skip over the fact that someone like me would go, yeah, that line pretty much sucked, which is why it was removed.
Well, maybe he gets more reasonable as he goes on to talk about Ghostbusters 2016.
I'm sure this guy will have a reasonable take on Ghostbusters 2016. All chuds do.
Just the fucking amount of verbal fucking masturbation this guy's doing is absurd.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. 2016 Ghostbusters. Ivan, his hand. He's got a knife, Ivan. A finely ornated knife. A pink ornated stiletto of some kind. A disturbingly unmasculine pink ornate stiletto. Just get away from the car. I don't like this guy. Just listen, Ivan. God damn it. What? Paul Feig should be dragged behind a carriage of drag queens over a road of wig pins for his blasphemy. But not just him. Amy Pascal, the producer who honestly liked this idea and shoved $200 million production and promotion behind this soiled maxi pad of a movie. Woke is truly a mental illness because only the insane would believe that murdering the cinematic memories of their entire male population only to cater to a mythical group of overlooked females who in reality only watch science fiction because their husbands nagged them into it, and Brad Pitt isn't in anything this week. Is a good business model.
Jesus Christ.
This guy's brain is written by a fucking like a 1980s magazine or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, real quick, I think this is important to say. The person who got me into Star Trek was my mom, and my mom was the big sci-fi fan of the family for the longest time.
This is important.
Women
to say.
like this stuff.
Women are the reason Star Trek exists now. Women are the reason Star Trek exists. Period. Because without them, there wouldn't have been a fan base. They were one of the first fandoms. They were one of the first to organize conventions. They organized to write a letter writing campaign to get the show put back on after it was canceled. Without women, there would be no Star Trek. Anyway, there's a reason why the woke forcibly insert themselves into already established unwoke entertainment titles. It's because they can't invent their own. And it's amazing how fascists just like are projecting all the time. Like this is what fascism is. This is why they can't create anything. That's why they're constantly whining and trying to get things to change, because they can't actually create anything. When they do, you get something like fucking ISOM, right?
I also want to point out, this goes back to like the clip at the beginning of this stream when you clipped of mine, where I talk about diversity and stuff in places. Diversity in general, in anybody in general, should be accepted into every place. Like it seems like it's such a weird take. You should not go, oh, women can't be in movies like that. What kind of fucking world is that? And to say that diversity is in places it shouldn't be is not only gatekeepy, but it's all of those other things. Like people say, you use buzzwords. Well, what else are we supposed to call it? If you say you don't want women and stuff.
Yeah,
what are we supposed to call it?
You can't say that and then be upset whenever we call you fucking bigots, man. Like that's what you are whenever that is your position. So
I'm sorry you don't like to be called that, but that's what it is. If that's your soul, it's different if you go, I don't want this person in this movie because I don't think they're a very good actor. Instead, you're going, we don't want all women in movies. We don't want all women writing movies. We don't want women producing movies. Like, you have to understand there's a difference between talking about specifically an actor that you don't like for whatever reason and talking about an entire community of people.
It's you're
speaking too much logic.
Let's see. Moving on here, we got here we go. So that's true, McLeod. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Base Lucille Ball.
Yes.
So the tragedy of this is the 4 actresses who only know to do what the director and the screenplay tell them to do. I mean, that is most actors.
Yeah, that's
I mean, most
job,
actors are not directing and writing stuff; they're just acting. So
it's not really an insult. If an actor can do that, that means they actually are doing their job well.
So it also means they're probably pretty successful and have some influence to be able to say stuff. Lots of actors don't have that role at all.
That movie kind of fucking sucks, but every single actress that's in the movie, and that's one of the reasons it's so disappointing, is because it could have been something good.
Paul
they're all great.
Movie before Ghostbusters 2016, I think it was Spy, and Spy was decently fucking funny.
I mean, Bridesmaids, right? Wasn't it him?
I think he was involved. It might have been him. But yeah, that was funny too.
I like Bridesmaids. Let's see. So they only know how to do the blah blah blah. I'm glad to see the ire spent on the guilty instead of these, because they all, except for Leslie Jones, knew they made a rhino turd. Okay, so weird to kind of single Leslie Jones out there. I wonder what that's about. When will the Woka Nostra, Jesus Christ, get the point that your feminist takes or the Forces female t-shirts make men sneer and women shrug and you lose money? And the stink bird lost 100 ducats.
Is this true? The Forces female had nothing to do with Star Wars. It was a nice campaign back in 2016.
Yes, it was actually an Air Force campaign. The Force in that shirt was Air Force, but it was just funny. And Kathleen Kennedy was there, and there was like, "Hey, wouldn't it be funny if you wore this shirt?" And she agreed, and 1,000 Chud videos thumbnails were made.
Wow.
Well, I mean, so Link Mario Samus, Nintendo person, I'm gonna call you. You say that the way you're phrasing that is that it is a problem when it's not. The fact that it was a female lead was not any problem of the sequels. Like I definitely.
I mean, I feel like they're definitely agreeing with you. There's sarcasm I'm reading there.
I see. We got that 1920s anti-suffragette mindset. Yeah.
I also want to point out Kathleen Kennedy has been around for a very long time. It's really weird that all of a sudden she's been the target of hate, because she's been connected to so many films. I mean, I think she was producer for like what, E.T., I think, and fucking The Money Pit. The Money Pit was a great fucking movie.
She was involved with producing all the Indiana Jones movies. She was in the room when
I think The Sixth Sense, wasn't she part of The Sixth Sense too? I do remember somebody mentioning that she was a producer on Sixth Sense. So she's been around for a long fucking time.
Her resume is like unparalleled. Like, it is ridiculous how much just classic stuff is in her.
But that's why this is inherently misogynistic, because the only reason she's being treated this way is because she's a woman. If a man had the same track record as her, they wouldn't be saying this about him.
Yeah.
Alien Master 3000, your satire is fucking awesome. I think you're hilarious. You're great. Let's see. Imagine asking a question about what woke means and then get this wall of garbage from a guy who hasn't seen a boob in 4 or 5 decades. Yeah. Well, he's probably definitely seen his own. So Kathleen Kennedy, pictured second from right, also pictured hack female writers no one gives a shit about because they suck. Okay. Says Kathleen Kennedy, let's hire another table of hack female writers and insert our unpopular selves into another male franchise. It's not a male fucking franchise, you fucking dipshit.
Considering the first character we ever see in Star Wars that's important is a woman, it seems a little weird.
And it looks like they're going to set her up in that as being like a damsel in distress. She is to an extent, but it's the moment that she has a chance, she's fucking kicking ass and showing Luke what's up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look, Doomcock I don't know that he could write something this good. I don't want to think of him as the perfect.
This is probably a somebody that watches Doomcock or watches one of those channels, most likely.
The way they talk about like it's like these guys, it seems like they developed their fucking vocabulary specifically so they could shit on movies sometimes. Like with the result, this deformity, like they probably never use words like that.
Like I've told people before, I don't disagree that Ghostbusters 2016 wasn't a good movie, but my argument isn't it sucked because it was women. That's not the issue. You could have had all of those same people involved with that movie and did a different film, and it probably would have been hilarious. The movie was just bad because of choices made within the movie. It has nothing to do with it being women.
Absolutely. Like the concept of a female Ghostbusters is a doable concept. It just the movie didn't work.
So Smirking Gun has a good point here. Think like when I think about how much I've ever paid attention to the producers on a given film. It was very, very seldomly before, all of this stuff.
I mean, that's why I had to think hard to even remember where I had seen her name before. But then I just looked at her wiki. She has thousands of things she's been involved with, like hundreds of them that she's been involved with directly and thousands of things that she's been connected to. Like this woman has been in the industry for decades.
Yeah. I mean, if anything, if you just hate these Star Wars sequels, it's, to be at least honest or in touch with reality, you would say that like, man, she has a lot of hits, but she messed up this time. That's the most you could say if you were like going to be, in connection with fucking facts. Anyway. Okay. Lucasfilm was bought by Disney, and Disney helmed this fine old ship who underwent battles after cinematic battle with a woke Führer feminist. Oh my god. Who stays on the toilet so long she can finish that chapter of Bell Hooks like she. What the fuck are you fucking talking about, Perfect Chud? And then moving on. A baby so twisted and evil, it had been born in ancient Greece. Would have been left in the wilderness and dragged off by wolves. Here I introduce you to a term. It's a useful one, and I guarantee you it's very useful to these guys because it's literally just any woman. I don't even understand how that's possible. Star Wars, they're literally making more right now. It's crazy. So, like, tell us how to get to your alternate fucking reality, man. I want to go check it out.
Or tell us your real account. I mean, that's even better one. Like,
anyway, we probably know. There's a handful of likely culprits. Let's see. Got 2 minutes. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to at least take a break here before long, but we can move on from this and go to the other thing. Just this Perfect Chud. Maybe we'll come back to him and read him again Friday.
Yeah, we need to cover this Mary Sue thing, and that could take a while because I have a lot of thoughts on that. So we. In
the meantime, if you haven't, let's check it out. There is a video on my channel where me and it's a Fatcast episode. Me and Morgan and it was a little movie perp was there, and then also Ryan from Nothing But Media, who just hit 900 fucking subs. You guys, if you're not subscribed to Nothing But Media, you should be. Let's get that guy to 1,000. And anyway. Yeah, we talked about Mary Sue for a couple of hours, and it was a pretty enlightening discussion. I feel like we hit on a lot of important stuff there, but yeah, we'll talk about it again. Well, what's the next thing, Bob? Oh, did I catch him while he's on the toilet?
Probably.
Oh, well, you know what? I think Eric July had some stuff to say because he was kind of quiet for a while.
I was going to say we had AR about ready to come up.
Okay. It's a good thing you caught me because I was about to start the Eric video.
Well, I've got to leave now, so I got to jump out. But I will see everyone later. Great stream, guys, and I will probably be around on Friday when you're streaming, Dane. So I'll see you then.
Friggin' Blurred will be on if you want to hop on. You're welcome to.
Okay, cool. All right, thanks, chat, and I will catch everyone later. See you later, Bob.
Later, DJ. All right, so I guess the question is more: did you want to go into what you were just about ready to go into, or do you want to talk about AI art?
It's up to you, really. I mean, we could end the stream on what I got.
Okay. Well, let's do a little bit on AI art, and then we can go into what you got.
Cool. Did you want to bring up that Mid-Journey thing or what?
I don't have it queued up. Hold on.
Okay, I got it. No problem.
I'm getting used. Okay, so in case the audience is wondering, this is my first stream ever with 2 modders. I'm getting used to it. It is very useful though.
Goodbye for now. Perfect, Chud. We'll be back. Oh, this is just something I wanted to.
He'll be back, I'm sure.
I wanted to show this real quick, just because like it is real, but it's just kind of a sight to behold. This is real. This is a real screenshot.
Subscribe.
So yeah, now as Hulu and Disney Plus are kind of merging or whatever, certain I guess regions or whatever, like now there is Nymphomaniac is on the Disney Plus app. For anybody that's not familiar with Nymphomaniac, I mean it's exactly what it sounds like, except there's also, well, I got a drop for it. I'll have to take me a second to pull it up, but there's Nymphomaniac is a movie about a woman who is she's a nymphomaniac, and she has a lot of sex with a lot of people just in the movie. Like it's a lot, like a lot. In fact, I haven't put anything on this green screen yet, but there'll be something. I should have put this screenshot behind this, but
major thing missing from all action movies these days, guys. Full penetration. Guys, we're gonna show full penetration, and we're gonna show a lot of it.
That's essentially Lars von Trier's thinking about making Nymphomaniac, and he did.
Yeah.
Have you seen that movie, Bob?
No, I haven't, but I mean I know of it.
Yeah.
Lars von Trier is he's interesting.
I respect the fact that he's out there more than I appreciate his movies. It's like, okay, look, he hasn't done anything that I would say is
very
actually
good. Yeah.
I mean,
I would say lots of times his thing seems almost like he's more interested in like experimenting with something than telling a good story.
Yeah. And he definitely does like the shock value, but it's not just shock. It's also like, it definitely does seem to have a purpose to it as far as like cultural sensibilities. And like, he is trying to get us to question these things, I think. But yeah, sometimes it's just like, I don't want to see that shit, man. Like, I don't want to fucking see that. Anyway, so Midjourney is apparently plagiarizing the fuck out of stuff. You guys hear about this? You know about this? About Jay Leno there?
Yeah. Oh, I know. I know what you shared.
Let me find that post.
I am almost on it.
I'm almost on it too. We didn't even talk about Griggs and his whole thing. How he seems to be he's not just pro rape. We've known that for a while. But now apparently he's pro same sex and underage rape, I guess. I didn't surprised, but
yeah.
All right.
Is it?
This guy Reed Southern has been waging a heroic campaign against the fact that Midjourney is straight up just plagiarizing shit. And the way he's been doing that is by 6-word or so prompts for the AI to create something, and it's like essentially giving the exact screenshot of whatever it is that he's asking for, and that shouldn't happen. It shouldn't happen. Yeah, so right here we've got the original Dune, and this is Midjourney V6 with, I guess this is the prompt here, Dune movie screencast. I don't know. See, raw. I don't understand this stuff, but maybe somebody else does. But essentially, he's doing it over and over again, and there's like very slight variations in there. It may even appear from far enough away to just be the exact same picture, but they're not. But what it shows is it's actually just drawing from the movie.
Yeah.
And then recreating it.
It's actually kind of wild looking at it. It's like you can go through and find little differences and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I mean, it's plagiarism. I mean, this is offering nothing unique.
I mean, wow. I I mean, there's like little differences, like in the mask here. Like you have to kind of look really hard to see the differences. And then just like the faces look a little bit, just a tad bit too plasticky, but for the most part they look pretty fucking real.
Yeah, it's. I will say it's a little rough sometimes, especially on Rebecca Ferguson's face. It looks a little wonky with her.
Yeah, that's not Rebecca Ferguson. That doesn't even look like her right there. So yeah, this is a problem, and this is the problem that people have been talking about AI art since you know it started becoming easy to access and create yourself, because it's already creating problems. So hopefully this leads to some kind of change where there's like I don't know, who knows if there's going to be some kind of like I don't know, institution implemented that's going to keep track of this stuff and keep. I don't know. There has to be laws passed. First of all, there's fucking no laws.
Yeah,
people do whatever they want. It's the Wild West. Yeah. Anyways. Oh wow, so is Zendaya the one that's in? Okay, no, sorry.
No, that was just in the prompt. That is Rebecca Ferguson in that shot. Can I put this? Hold on. I brought Jeremy Griggs up because lots of people seem to want to bring up that. Let me find dark mode though.
Okay. Oh, you want me to bring up the Griggs thing? You posted. I can just share that, right?
Yeah, I already have it posted. I just am figuring out dark mode real fast.
All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back.
I am not finding it. I guess I could just bring it up. Guys, this is light mode. Prepare your eyes, okay? Oh, and I lost it. Hold on. This is how streams. God.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Okay. Well, look, I mean, while you search,
we're winning, guys. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Okay. So here we go. Bingo. There we go. Okay, so we're doing flight mode here, but yeah, Jeremy Griggs commenting on how Tucker Carlson had an election surprise where he had Kevin Spacey guest on his show. And if you're wondering, it was a joke where Kevin Spacey essentially plays the Frank Underwood, his character from House of Cards, and he pretends like he's announcing his run for presidency. And we're
like
context, yeah.
It's creepy how like that's the only thing that Kevin Spacey has done since he fucking got fucking rightfully fucking canceled is like everything that he does, he's doing it as what's his name, and it's like that's creepy, man. You're trying to make us think that you're not fucking Kevin Spacey. You're trying to be the character that people love to hate, and it's like no, we just hate you, man.
Yeah, dude. Kevin Spacey is an actor I loved, and kind of when it came out that he was a monster, I was just like, oh. And kind of like he always had this creepy undercurrent to him. And I always thought it was because he was a good actor. And now it's like, oh no, he's just a monster, and that's the creepy undercurrent.
What did Kevin Spacey do? So there's been I don't know exactly how many, but at least a couple of you know, as verified as you can be considering. But like actor Anthony Rapp. He's the most famous one. Star Trek Discovery. He was in Rent. He was in a lot of stuff in the 80s and whatnot. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead. No, sorry, not that one. I'm thinking of Adventures of Babysitting, the other babysitting movie. So whenever he was like 17, underage, he was essentially sexually assaulted by Kevin Spacey. You know, and it also kind of makes sense as to why, like, I don't know, and the Usual Suspects is just I can't watch it anymore.
Yeah,
you know, between the director and Kevin Spacey, it's like fuck.
And you hear about like Bryan Singer and Kevin Spacey were like really good friends, and when you find out more about this stuff, it's like, oh,
now we know why. Yeah,
that's why they were buddies.
Yeah, he was going to the underage boy parties, which is a thing that happened and is fucking gross. You know, but like, and so like the only two things that I think I've seen him do since then is he made that one really weird thing that he like a commercial that he put out. It's like not even an ad for anything. I think it might have been a Christmas time thing where he was Frank Underwood, and he's like in the kitchen, and he's just talking like Frank Underwood, blah blah blah, and then and it's just like, what are you doing? You're not even that character anymore. You got fired.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I should probably go back and watch that final season, because from what I understand, Robin Wright did everything she needed to do to fucking step up and just like lead that show to an ending.
Robin Wright was always great in that series.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know I was a season behind, and it was hard for me to finish the season with Kevin Spacey because it's just tough to watch him anymore. It's that creepy undercurrent with him. But like, this is the insidious thing about this. I just want to point out, this is what they do. Like, they normalize people like this. Now they're bringing on Kevin Spacey just to do a goofy little joke, like they do with Gavin McInnes and all these other people. Oh, we're just being goofy with them. It's nothing serious. It normalizes these monsters, frankly.
For anybody that sees our content and they're like, oh, you just don't like that they're popular, or you don't like that they say things that you don't agree with or something. No, man. It's shit like this is literally like some of the most egregious stuff that these guys do. It's not even necessarily the movie stuff on its own in a vacuum. It's like, okay, people have bad fucking takes, whatever. People say shit I disagree with all the time on the internet. I don't cover all those people. I cover these people because I see exactly what they're doing, and I see it over and over again, and it needs to be fucking called out. Can you get to that post that I'd shared based on yours?
Yeah, you had. I think that's probably first time here. Hold on. Here we go.
I think I had retweeted Ryu and
it was a quote tweet. You want to do the quote tweet?
That's where the good stuff is.
Hold on,
let's look at the quote tweets.
Let's bring up the quotes.
I was quoting. Let's see. So I have it here.
Where are the quote tweets on desktop? Okay, we'll do this the old-fashioned way. I hate the way Twitter's set up now. Just it's close enough to what it used to be to make me think that it's the same, but then it's not.
Yeah, it's garbage. It's just yeah, they just said it was a fake wiener, but it's not even about the wiener. The wiener is not really the point. The wiener is just it's just a wiener or a fake wiener or whatever. But also, it doesn't matter if it's real or not, because if we can't tell if it's real or not, it functionally is real.
Mm-hmm.
The fact of it is that it is real. It's like, would it matter to because definitely some underage children saw that. Does it matter that they don't know if they saw a real one or a fake one? It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Okay.
And Gavin, like, he literally had he's got a book or something. His first book was about like pissing in public or something, like essentially to troll people.
All right, and this should have audio on it. Let me know if you guys can hear it. Let me know if it loads too.
I can bring it up. Because you were a robot in a minute ago.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I got it. Right.
Okay.
I'm actually going to have to reload my screen share because I don't think I turned on the sound, but I can do that quickly.
But yeah, it's just insidious what these guys do.
Okay. So first up is the Andrew Tate comment, which speaks for itself. So just right there, this is well after the charges have been filed. Not just the charges, but then the fact that they were also looking into them for not just adults being trafficked. That there might have been some underage folks there involved too, which is exactly what these guys are accuse everybody else of being, are doing. Like, except worse. It's not even grooming. It's just straight up fucking exploiting, pimping out fucking children. So fucking disgusting. And this guy just has no fucking qualms was just, oh, he's been unfairly targeted. No doubt about that. But then you guys remember whenever what was her name? Jean Carroll, the woman that Trump is
oh yeah,
legally liable, or I'm sorry, civilly liable for having raped. Like
the one where Trump pretty much admitted that he raped her.
Yeah, and then he was on the news or went on some show, and he's just like making casual fucking comments about it, you know, in his fucking fucked up way. And here is Jeremy reacting to that.
Her dog or her cat was named Vagina. The judge wasn't allowed to put that in. All of these things he.
Cool. Yeah. So
I mean, Philip,
this is what they normalize to their audience.
Hold on, man, Philip, don't do this, dude. Don't just do this shit. Seriously, like that's not fucking okay for them to do, and it's not okay. Like, there's no reason to think that that's true. That's just like saying bullshit, and you got to be better than that, man. You got to be. Sorry. I mean, deadbeat dad. Oh, is that Tate you're talking about? I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Griggs was one of those, but like, yeah, just saying that he's grooming minors for no fucking reason, man, is like, what the fuck are you talking about? He also defended Michael Jackson in the past. People forget that too. I don't know what your thoughts on that are. I mean, I don't believe that I don't believe it's possible that at least some of the stuff that Jackson was accused of didn't happen.
Yeah. Now that
I added that, it's clearly it's a little joke for a very fucked up.
But that is I want to make it clear that's the actual Geeks and Gamers logo, though. It was just a little that's changed. Everything else is accurate.
Yeah, that's the part that we changed, was just that one line at the bottom. Everything else is the same.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Of course he does, because he's that kind of fucking monster that just fucking bangs women and doesn't think about how it's going to affect them and doesn't wear a condom or anything like that and just moves on. And then, yeah, of course he is. Yeah, exactly. Screwface. We got to be the change we want to see. You know, it's not cool that fucking Geeks and Gamers is going around, or it has gone around, or whatever. It's like, oh, they're groomers, blah blah blah. But like, that doesn't mean that we should do that without any kind of evidence either. When there's, besides the fact that there's plenty of stuff to criticize him on, that is like right there, tangible. We can see it that he's done this. You know, and that's bad enough. Anyway, so there's that. 2 hours 22 minutes. I'd like to once again point out that on Friday, gonna have Blurred Without Fear. Ernie, it's been a while. He was on like 2 years now. Well, last time he was on my channel was whenever No Way Home was about to come out.
Oh yeah, that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, we did the 2 episodes. Well, he was only on one, but like we did 2 episodes of a show called Three Eras is what I called it, or something like that. So like whenever Eternals came out, and then whenever that came out, where 3 of us got together and we each read a different era of book of the title the movie was going to be about, and we like tried to pick books that would maybe, you know, seem like they were going to potentially influence the film before the film came out. And with No Way Home, Ernie fucking chose, or he didn't chose. I asked him if he'd take it, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll fucking do that." Was One More Day, because it was pretty clear that No Way Home was going to have some, you know, potential reality altering, forgetting who's, you know, identity and stuff. And I was like, well, that's One More Day. Somebody, yeah. And he's just fucking great, dude. He's one of the first, maybe the first YouTuber that I invited on and just like reached out to and was like, oh man, he's bigger than my channel. He'll probably not want to do it, but he was like fucking completely chill, and we had a good time. And yeah. He's
I just know him from his Twitter activity and his YouTube channel, and I think he's pretty good.
He's pretty great. He's like, and I'm like looking back, I have a clip where he was talking about Eric July, but when I didn't really know about Eric July, like I only knew Eric as like the Rhodes guy, and in fact, I'm not sure that I'd even recognized when he was talking about him that it was the same guy. So I might have just been sitting there like, I don't know who he's talking about. You know, and he's talking about how Eric had called him out on Twitter or he had said something about Comicsgate is racist and shit or whatever, and then Eric July had asked him to come on his channel to talk to him, and he said that he went. He said he didn't realize it at the time. He'd never go again, but he shouldn't have gone. And he went on, and that basically it was just an excuse for Eric to fucking, you know, berate him and say a bunch of bullshit and then make money. And I was like, oh yeah, that does. Watching the clip a while back, I'm like, that does sound exactly like Eric's lie. Yeah. Yeah. That's okay.
Well,
me too, man. Me too.
Well, speaking of Eric, do we have a bit on it?
Do we? What?
Oh,
I just have this video clip that, like, I showed it to you yesterday. I don't know if I guess people should see it. So the lawsuit is over. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
lawsuit is over, and Eric July, nothing bad happened to him. He didn't have to concede anything. He didn't have to do anything, or and in fact, by the way, I don't have the thing that I was working on yesterday. If that's what you're trying to set up.
Okay.
I did not get a chance to finish it, and I want it to be really good. I'm hoping to have it for Friday. But yeah, we still got this. Check this out. Eric had been kind of quiet lately because, you know, the lawsuit was still going on. And I imagine his lawyers finally just were like, dude, you got to shut the fuck up in public. Because it seems pretty clear that he's essentially had to include a more or less apology and walking back some previous statements that he'd said about ISOM Church, the Good Shepherd Ministries. Because if you remember how he was talking about them before, it was like fake Christian kind of insinuation he was making that, like, oh, they're basically calling them fucking grifters or scammers, and they're fake Christians that are trying to take my money. And, you know, he was being really derisive about them. And now he's got a different tune. But we're not going to watch that. We're going to watch his video that he made where he seems to just have a whole lot backed up from not being able to just like let it out. Like he's got kind of guy that always lets it out. He lets out how he's feeling. He lets it fly. But he hadn't been for a while because of legal reasons. Now he can again. So let's just see what he had going on inside him.
He'll be good to see him unload.
The Rippaverse isn't fucking going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I just fucking relaunched. For Ken's sake, I'm not playing around. Get over it. Like my haters, man. I need there. But these guys are so fucking invested in my failure, right? Got these gay ass dudes. These guys are 40 and 50 years old doing nonstop damn videos about me. And I'm like, bro, get a grip.
Real quick, I just want to mention, this is a good thing to pause on too. I am jealous of his studio setup. I need that studio setup.
Yeah.
Like, I need to be like, hey, I'm middle streaming. Hey, I need to run to the bathroom. I just turn to the side for a second.
Are you hearing?
Hey,
is there
back.
Are you getting any audio interference? This clip seems corrupted or something. There's some kind of weird noise going on. Is that just me?
I'm not hearing anything, but
okay.
A lot of y'all got family. You got women that you're supposed to be tending to, and you worried about me and what it is that I got going because you're so banking on my failure. It's like, bro, the most mild thing, I've said this before, guys, the thing that I've done that's been the most mild thing, the least political thing that I've done, the least controversial thing that I've done, or should have been, was launch a fucking comic book company. Who would have thought? Who would have fucking thought me launching a comic book company? Fucking mad.
What the fuck is... The squeak always gets me. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, like, you know, there's no reason to fucking listen to any of this bullshit, really, like, to actually listen to it, because it's all just fucking projection and like whining and, you know, trying to seem like he's a victim but also seem like a badass who doesn't care. And it's like, dude, in many cases it's clear who you're talking about. You know, it's either Vito and Dick and those guys, and then, you know, he's probably upset about that whole was it the rip-off verse? I don't think he took kindly to that. And then it's also us. You know, like some of this stuff, what was it that I was looking at? Maybe it was this I was listening to, that when I could actually still hear the words he was saying. And I was like, I think he's kind of referencing me there or something. I don't know. You know, and he acts like the way he frames everything is, well, that's first and foremost. That's why he has to constantly respond to stuff, is he's always reframing what's going on to program people to think is the way he wants them to think. Sorry.
It's also his entire fucking content model. He just fucking makes controversies and then has to respond and essentially have to program an answer with his audience and train them as to what like a lot of this shit is, which is why a lot of times they get shit factually wrong and people point out they're factually wrong, and then they're like, no, didn't you see this? It's insane.
In fact, if I wanted to show, I do want to show. Oh, I said that. Like last week or something, this is what prompted me to reach out to Blurred and be like, hey, dude, you want to come on the show? Because clearly you are hitting the same buttons that I am. He got called out by the Ripaverse Goalpost, which is actually just Eric July's channel or stock account. And where is it? Got called out as in. Yeah.
Listen, I don't know who runs Ripaverse Goalpost. All I can say is, if I were the manager of Ripaverse Goalpost, I'd be embarrassed because you're trying to call out people and you just make them look cool. It's all you do.
Mm-hmm.
And frankly, I'll be blunt. I love you, man, because like you're free publicity for all of us. You make us all look great.
Yeah, I mean it's legit, like helpful in a lot of ways. Look, our intro, which we didn't play this time. But you know, our normal show intro includes that some stuff that they've said that was like, you know, honestly, I don't know if I would enjoy it as much without that little bit of extra help. Damn, where the fuck is it? Okay, so I don't know. Maybe I already passed it. Who knows? Oh no, here's part of it. So this is one thing. This is what his logo used to look like for Canon's sake right here. And then I made some videos with my own whenever I was correcting him on some shit that he, you know, any fucking self-respecting comic book expert should know. And now the logo's different. You can't see it because
not my hot take on.
You can't see it because I covered it up with the proper logo, but like he changed his logo because of me. I believe that. You know? He actually stopped doing this show for Canon's sake. I think that's what he said earlier. He was farting at the same time. It's kind of hard to hear.
Yeah, and no, he should like. It's nice that he has the toilet there, but he should really try to set up a
going
better, so
a little overboard. A little overboard. Like, yeah, get a directional mic. It's not picking up all that shit, man. That's fucking gross. Damn, where the fuck is it? I guess I just don't know where it is. But it was here at some point where Ernie had said, wait. Nope. Did we talk about how Eric July is just clearly a fucking fascist? And he was supporting that Milei guy in Argentina? Because that's something to talk about.
I don't think we have.
So he's an ANCAP libertarian, and his band has a song called "Democracy Sucks." You can go look that up. He's been full-throating this guy Milei for a while now, and just like with Token, he applies his own meaning to the word liberty. So this is, if anybody's not familiar with Milei and what he's about, it's been pretty clear while he was campaigning and stuff in Argentina that he was a fascist, and it's only become confirmed since he's won. So he's like here, so he's done a total crackdown on Argentine civil society, calling on armed forces to break strikes, arrest protesters, so on and so forth. Like just fascism. Is doing a fascism. And then this is the guy that Eric July has been like straight up fucking full throating, which I'm really trying to make into a verb. So if you guys can start using that, appreciate it. You know, he's full throating this guy. And it's like, man, how much more obvious can you be that you're a fucking fascist? You're saying they got an unapologetic libertarian president before. Like, he can't think that this is an actual libertarian, right? Like, he can't think that. It's impossible for him to see this shit and think that this is what fucking liberty is. So he has to just be like, he's a knowing fascist, I guess. And he's just saying all this shit like libertarian and stuff. That's like the cover. The ones that Joe Bennett sports in Brazil is what's his name? You know, the fascist guy. But yeah, there you go. You know, he's fucking full throating that guy. That's cool. Very cool stuff there. Speaking of which, here's some more cool people, freedom guys. The Tate brothers speaking out against GTA 6. I'm not a fan of anyone under the age of 18, 21, maybe, playing video games where the goal is to shoot police officers. Cool. Tim Pool says he won't play female characters in GTA games because women aren't physically capable of hurting men. Man, he's a cool guy. What a cool fucking guy. Elon tried, but didn't like doing crime. GTA 5 required shooting police officers in the opening scene. Just couldn't do it. Oh, man, these guys are the fucking coolest.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Fucking real rebels. They're bucking the establishment stuff. Oh, look, here's the Chuds are really mad about this. Magdalene Visaggio fucking got to write the Rebel Moon comic, which I guess now we realize isn't necessarily such a high praise. But you know, she's trans, so like Chuds be mad about that.
Of course.
Oh, this is funny. This fucking S.A. Rivera guy. This is what, Literature Devil, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
yes.
Gives his honest opinion on the Rippaverse comics. So far, why not make Alpha Core the main characters? They're a lot more fun. They have flaws and personality. There's so much more excitement and energy, not just in the writing, but from the creators too. And like right there, all Eric is seeing is insults to his fucking honor right now. Like, this is the kind of thing that honestly, if you're creating a comic book universe and you're putting out several books, you should expect that maybe some people might not like the thing that you specifically made yourself. That they might like something that the guy that you say yourself is an industry legend. That's not true, but you say it is. You would think that like this is a perfect opportunity to engage with the fandom, and like, you know, this is something that he's excited about. This is a guy who has influence and whatnot to a degree, and you're gonna he basically just starts quibbling with them about it. He's like, this is one thing I think you misunderstand about the universe and thus the business. There are no main characters in that sense. The point is of the universe to have as many characters, and it's just like, dude, you're not going to be able to control how people see this stuff. You can't you can't think that. Like, if this is any kind of, if these people are actually enjoying these comics, if there's actually a little tiny fucking little sub culture of fucking comics fandom that's building around this stuff, and if there is, it's very tiny and really stupid. Then you have to understand that you cannot fucking control how people see it. Like, but that's, you know, he's a fascist, as we just saw, so of course he doesn't understand that. And he's like, what I mean is the DC has the Justice League, Marvel has the Avengers as their flagship team. We first met characters like Yaira and Alpha Core through Isom and Avery. We could meet other characters likewise through Alpha Core. I'm sure that might be the plan anyway. Also, the energy is always high whenever you guys talk about Alpha Core. And anyway, he's just, you know, more fucking ball washing from Literature Devil. I mean, Literature Devil is a good name for him because, like, he's certainly just, I don't know, likes bad literature.
Yeah, he's awful. I've only covered him once. I've been tempted to go back.
And then he goes, well, those teams are made up of individuals. Yeah. So is Alpha Core, no? Are you not writing them as individuals? They're just like a fucking...
Yeah, they're a collective mass.
Collectively, they handle the world threats, which is why they're a mashup of various characters. Alpha Core has introduced other characters and will introduce more, and the same can be said for Yaira. Like, what is that even? I don't even know why he's commenting at this point. Alpha Core is in a perfect position to guide current and future readers into the universe. They work for the police force, so they have a narratively justifiable reason to be places. Their job is to handle literature devil. They are contraction? No, you're a fucking idiot. Their job is to handle conflict, so there's easy justification to throw them into one investigation or another. The team's makeup is ideal. 2 veterans, with Valdez as more of a rookie and an investigator. This means, should there be info the audience needs to know? Like, he's actually making some good points if you actually give a shit about this. I honestly don't know how you can read that and then make any kind of fucking points that make sense, but whatever. Like, he's essentially doing what he's making the mistake that what's his name? Dick made at one point, which is just to say, hey, here's what you should do.
Yeah.
It's actually doing it kind of from a fan perspective. And you know, I don't know. Eric probably wasn't too happy about that. It seemed like. Nonetheless.
Well, here I brought up actually what I have is what Blurred Without Fear said.
Yes.
That, Ripaverse collected.
Thank you for finding that.
But honestly, he's collected it nicely. I think, frankly, when I read this, I didn't even have to look up the originals. I was like, shit, this makes him look based as fuck. Blurred Without Fear. If working with Nazis is the only way to keep the industry alive, fuck it. Let it burn to ashes. But hey, Rip won't know anything about that. Of course,
Well,
he's Mark Wade being based as fuck saying that, because frankly, real quick, Mark Wade, underrated writer in my opinion. I know he's a writer with a lot of acclaim, but he's better than Mark Miller. He is.
Oh yeah.
I've read so many books just because his name is on. I read Khazar back in the early aughts, just because Mark Wade's fucking name was on it.
Yeah, I'm pulling up his wiki now so we can kind of look at a list of the stuff he's done. But yeah, so the just the fact that this Blurred saying this got Riververse Goalpost attention, for another, like, it's just more obvious to me that this is Eric and his wife or whatever running this account, because of course they're gonna look at the other black dude in the comic. Well, there's only 2 of them, but one of the black dudes in comics fandom that essentially will call out this bullshit and then support based fucking takes like Mark Wade's, and like he's got to control that narrative, as we saw just now with the literature devil. Eric July cannot stand when people aren't looking at things the way that he thinks they need to be looked at, and he wants to he's got to change that shit, or try to desperately, badly.
But yeah. Somebody pointed out he worked at the Blaze. This is nothing for Eric, and facts. The Blaze is basically the Washington Post for Nazis, which is true. If you know anything about the Blaze, it's true.
True.
But yeah,
wow.
He's just being based.
Okay, so I want to point out that a lot of comic book writers on Wikipedia, when you go look at their wiki, their bibliography will be on, like, it'll just be listed right there underneath their history and stuff like that, right? Not Mark Wade's. Mark Wade has a separate wiki tab for his bibliography because he's written so much fucking shit, and it's all
really
what I read pretty good.
Well, I remember, like, when I was reading a lot, like he did multiple titles a month, and they were usually entertaining.
He's currently fucking heading up the DC's Dawn of DC kind of initiative that they're doing in this. Generally, I think people are receiving it pretty well. I haven't checked it out, but I'm a little bit behind on DC stuff generally. But yeah, it's he's worked for, let's see, he's done The Flash, Kingdom Come. That's a really fucking good, crazy ass epic. Superman Birthright, as well as work on Captain America, Fantastic Four, Daredevil. From August 2007 to December 2010, he was the editor-in-chief and later CCO of Boom Studios, where he also published his creator-owned series, Irredeemable and Incorruptible, which are fucking great. In 2012, along with fellow comic book writer John Rogers, founded Thrillbent, a platform for digital comics that hosted a number of series written by Wade himself. And then he joined Humanoids Publishing in 2018 as Director of Creative Development, before being promoted to publisher in February 2020. In addition, Wade has written for a variety of American comic publishers, including Fantagraphics, Event, Top Cow, Dynamite, and Archie. It would just take a whole another 2-hour stream, basically, to kind of go through the list of shit, but we can do a scroll. Oh, you're already scrolling.
Yeah, yeah, no, I was bringing it up while you were talking about it.
Oh, you just did a cool robot sound. That's right,
That's what I'm
dude.
going for. I did that on purpose.
Dude, Bird is like, I told him that in the first time that he came on the channel. I was like, man, I watch your content and I think, God, I just wish I had that energy that he has. I don't have it. I don't have the natural fucking like any, and it's not like he's forcing or anything. He's just like a guy you want to listen to and talk to and hang out with, talk about comics and shit. And it's like, I hope I can come across like a quarter of that at all.
This is insane.
Okay.
Like, I wonder how much the stream will just be me scrolling this.
But Mark Waid is also on it, I believe, right? I mean, yeah, I guess it makes sense that Williamson is, because he's been. I just read what is it? Dark Crisis recently. Finally, that's pretty good. I enjoyed it. Oh, he's writing two. Gotcha. Only doing Shazam. No, I mean Blaze is just for. It is for Nazis. The thing. I mean, it essentially is. Like, even if they're not like literally fucking, goose stepping Nazis, Nazis can get a good amount of their talking points from Blaze Media for sure.
I mean, I'll just be completely honest with what you guys. All Blaze Media is, and there's a lot of businesses that actually are like this. Daily Wire is another one. They're whores for right-wing dark money. That's it.
Bingo.
Anything for that dark money.
I mean, sorry.
Suck it up.
Yeah, we do the right thing.
I'll reach the end, but yeah. Jesus.
Bingo. Sorry.
Oh, you want us to say something wildly bigoted just for some dark money? Okay. Oh, do you want us to get a person of color to say it? Okay.
Yeah, I mean they're still trying to make that that alternate reality that they've been working on creating, where they have an answer to everything that the quote unquote left, which really just means people that don't allow bigotry in most cases.
Yeah.
Twitter, former Twitter, that is. Twitter's actually a perfect example of what they want. They want to turn everything into Twitter, as in like let all the Nazis advertise and fucking say terrible shit and let everybody just be complete pieces of shit to people. And then whine whenever somebody says something like cis, and entertain the idea of making that a slur that gets you banned from the platform. Yeah, that's what they want, and that's what they want for society. I'll be right back.
All right. Well, I let's see.
You gotta go.
Does anybody have their favorite Mark Waid book? Twitter is a bitch to work with. Twitter is hell. I'm really bad figuring out how to operate my mouse between two monitors, guys. So hang in there. But yeah, no, Mark Waid, like, it was towards the end of me reading comic books, but like there are so many books I would just read just because his name was on it. I know I was reading his Captain America. I think it was Kurt Busiek who was doing Avengers at that time, and he's another guy I absolutely loved at that time. I'd read a lot of his books just because his name's on it. Did he do Hawkeye? He might have. He's done a lot. I think I'm past Marvel. Wait. Here we go. Maybe if I do the quick links. Oh, he did Alpha and Omega from Age of Apocalypse. So X-Men, he's definitely done X-Men. Captain America, I brought that up. Let's see, what was Chad asking? Hawkeye. I don't see a Hawkeye. Unless it's not advertised. Nah, it's not advertised. And I've read his Khazar, and I will say my criticism of his Khazar is not that it wasn't entertaining. I actually found it very entertaining. But he was doing like this weird thing where it was like the jungle has taken over the planet. And it was just a Khazar story where the jungle has taken over the planet. And it felt like that should be like a huge, like, multi-book, like, issue. But instead, it was just Kazar, and no other superheroes felt the impact of that. It's weird. The story on its own was entertaining as hell, though. His Fantastic Four. I have not read his Fantastic Four. It's right there in front, though, too. Oh, Matt Fraction. Yeah, Matt Fraction definitely did Hawkeye. He did some Daredevil. Awesome. Age of Ultron. Wonder is that the original Age of Ultron? I will say I was not a huge fan of the original Age of Ultron. Oh,
it was not good. I mean,
yeah.
it could have been okay in a diff. It wasn't called that,
Yeah.
and it was just like because it was functionally just like, how does Wolverine solve the fucking trolley problem or something like?
Yeah, no, the story actually begins decent, and it's kind of insane, and Ultron's all this powerful, and then it becomes this weird time travel story where Invisible Woman and Wolverine go back to kill Hank Pym.
And then he does,
like, most
but then
of the
he has
story.
to go back
It's
and
like,
kill
oh my
himself
God.
to stop him from killing Hank Pym.
Yes.
It's like I like that kind of shit. I actually do think that kind of stuff is great. Like my favorite part is
It
whenever
can
like
be fun, but it didn't work there.
right, the two Wolverines are trying to decide which one is going to die now because like one of them has to go. You know, it's like which one is going to be. He's like, well, I've seen a lot of shit that you it's like, okay, well that's fine. You like basically one of them volunteers because he's seen too much.
Yeah.
It's fucking great.
Yeah, no, when I heard that Joss Whedon was using the name but not actually following the book, it was like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah. I mean, that was the kind of thing that they kind of pushed that out kind of quickly, I think, because they knew that they just wanted something with the same name on the shelves for whenever the movie came out.
But yeah, not an amazing book by any means. Of course, yeah, Mark Waid doesn't appear to be the primary writer.
He just get put in.
Yeah,
he gets put into the Eisner Hall of Fame just now, recently. Didn't know that.
Oh,
yeah, man, he's one of those guys that's just like you've read stuff that he's written. It maybe isn't the most fucking game changing thing that has ever been written about these characters, whatever it is, but it is solid. It is like the guy just knows how to fucking tell a
entertaining if
solid
nothing
story.
else.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like fuck. Okay, yeah, I mean, we talk about Eric July's Isom is boring as fuck. You will never pick up any Mark Waid title. It's as boring as Isom ever.
And
In fact, that would be a challenge. I mean,
not every writer can write like a lot of different characters. Like there's some writers that are just like well suited to certain characters. Mark Waid seems like he can just write any character and he gets that character and it conveys it perfectly. Yeah.
I mean, look, he did all these origin stories for like the entire DC universe.
Jesus.
Pretty much.
Jesus Christ. Well, look who drew the origin of Mr. Terrific. That was down. It's a purple link if that helps you.
Oh yeah, somebody I might have looked up before. That's why it's a
Yeah.
purple link.
He did do Birthright, Sandman. Yeah, Mark was busy in the 2000s. He's busy now, dude. Like this dude just seems like he just fucking steady putting out comics.
Yeah, I was gonna say at least the past 3 decades he's been busy.
So for someone like him to say, I'd rather fucking let the industry burn down than work with fucking the alt-right. That's a statement, man. And it's not delusional because how does he know about these guys? Have we talked about this? Go back to his regular thing. Is that not his bibliography, but his regular wiki?
Hold on. Let me get my mouse situated.
See, I pull it up here.
Oh my god. There it is. Okay. Oh.
No, not.
Yeah, I know. Okay, here we go.
And then go to well, is this it? Yeah, go down to legal issues. Yeah.
Okay, in September 2018, writer Richard Meyer. Who's that? I've never heard of that. Huh?
I don't know. I mean, your boy Zach, you know?
Oh, your boy Zach. It's
Yeah, your
weird his
boy.
name's Richard and he's your boy Zach. It's weird.
Creator of the YouTube channel Diversity in Comics filed a civil lawsuit in Texas against Wade, claiming defamation and tortious interference on Wade's part. Meyer accused Wade of convincing Antarctic Press not to publish Meyer's graphic novel, Jawbreakers. Wade launched a GoFundMe campaign to raise money to fight the suit and denied having anything to do with the Antarctic Press's decision. A statement verified in a deposition by the publisher of Antarctic Press. Wade's fellow comic creators Neil Gaiman, Kurt Busiek, Dan Slott, and Yannick Paquette contributed to his campaign, while artist Ethan Van Sciver began a similar campaign for Meyer, which was quickly surpassed Wade's in funding. Wade filed for the case to be dismissed. In December 2020, Meyer voluntarily withdrew the lawsuit and reached a confidential agreement. So for several years, let's see, what is that? 2 years at least. He dealt with these motherfuckers, and like he knows exactly what they're about.
Yeah,
it's not like he's just saying, "Oh, the alt-right is in like some vague, intangible people he doesn't like that have different opinions." It's like, no, he dealt literally with these people and had his life essentially fucking, turned on its side to some degree. Hopefully not too much, but like, and then to see the fact that like, yeah, he raised some money. He had some fucking great creators that stood up for him and helped raise some money. But then to see fucking Richard Meyer make $1 million or some shit just based on grifting and lying and fucking bigotry and shit like that has to fucking sting, and yeah, thankfully it worked out. It seemed to work out in the end. Who knows how much money he had to spend? Hopefully none that he out of his own pocket.
Didn't get back. Hopefully Meyer paid for it all. That'd be the perfect answer, but
yeah, that's how EVS kind of like came in and nudged his way onto the fucking top of the shit heap of Comicsgate, because Richard Meyer was the guy before, and Ethan was he was around and stuff, but then like with this in this way he basically bought Richard Meyer. He's you kind of like made him his lackey by fucking doing this. Yeah, so Mark Waid is not somebody. He knows the comic industry very, very well, and he knows the fucking chuds very, very well. And so his statement on it, the first of all, the industry is not going to burn down if we don't fucking have this figure of speech is the thing. It's not a literal statement.
I mean, this is Wade coming out and saying this was obviously a reaction to Mark Miller trying to both sides this shit, saying we need to bring everybody together. If you look at his Twitter history, he's been saying that shit. Need to bring people together. We need to listen to the other side and have them have a seat at the table. And Mark Waid essentially come down saying, "Hey, if the industry will either die or we listen to the other side, let's let it die."
But it's not even going to happen because, like, look, let's get the guys who have spent the last several years lying about the industry and fucking harassing fucking creators. Let's just get them to help us somehow. They don't have the power to fucking do anything. That's the thing. They don't. All they can do, the only power that these guys have at this point is to do their little corner of grift. They make some money in the corner, just being little shitheads. Like, let them. I guess can't stop them apparently, but like that's the only thing they have the ability to do. And yeah, Nick Rakita, man, he sure seems to get into the fucking grossest fucking situations. By the way,
it's one of those, when you watch that Nick Rakita Eric July thing, like you can see Nick Rakita's giving Eric July outs, and he just refusing to take them.
Yep. See if I can find something real quick. Well, shit, where is it?
Yeah, no, Rakita I know is very let's bring my mouse over. Rakita I know is very involved with Comicsgate. He's essentially their YouTube lawyer buddy.
So, well, at least he's got the chapters. They've got the chapters here, so we can maybe skip around and find what we're looking for. But it's a 2-hour plus stream, so otherwise, we wouldn't look at it. So here is Rakita reacts and rants. Eric July settles Isom via Isom. Full segment with EVS. We'll see.
Oh yeah, I saw this. I was interested.
Shepherd has an international school of ministry and registered its trademark ISOM many years ago for its various activities and efforts in its ministries.
And we didn't go ahead and check that and do anything about it when we titled our comic ISOM. There are missteps here. We have to acknowledge missteps. For people who don't want to acknowledge missteps, like, you got to do it. Even if you're on Eric's side, you got to acknowledge there's a huge misstep, and it probably cost them a shitload of money that shouldn't have been spent. But I am glad it's resolved. But fucking hell, like, dude, like, you could have avoided this just by calling it The Amazing Adventures of ISOM or whatever. Avery Brooks, whatever his fuck. Not Avery Brooks. That's Captain Benson. These half arguments that they've had. This is irrelevant to the settlement, but not because of this reason, but because it's hard to find customer confusion, despite how hard they tried to make customer confusion a real thing. That being said, the onset, ISOM was not a product of the International School of Ministry, and most objective or even semi-objective analysis would support that. But they tried so goddamn hard to intertwine ISOM the comic book with ISOM the ministry. These half arguments that they've had. This is irrelevant to the settlement. The settlement is good news. I have to maintain this because I'm going to fucking criticize all these weird things because I can already see it. Eric has an incessant need to prove that he was right on the issues. Settlement does not mean you were right on the issues. Settlement means you're right on the concept in agreement with the other party, which says that we can provide value without taking value from you, and any value we take, we will compensate sufficient to whatever. Who knows what that answer is? All right. We don't know because it's confidential. But that being said, it does not mean your legal argument was solid. And the idea that ISOM Knox is a real name of a real person does not mean you cannot trademark ISOM. You cannot go to this ministry that's owned a 25-year trademark, challenge your trademark, and be like, my great-great-great-great-great-great-grandpappy's name was ISOM Knox, therefore you can't trademark ISOM. The court would laugh you out of the fucking room. They would laugh you out of the room.
True.
Because that means you could just name someone Nike and invalidate the trademark of Nike. That's fucking retarded.
Was born way back in the 1800s. Some of this dispute played out in public, and of course, everybody had their opinion.
Why?
Okay. Yeah, me and Nick Rakita are probably like 100% in lockstep right now. I wonder why some of it played out in public, this dispute, Eric. Like, who was the fucking main fucking driver for this thing playing out publicly? Fucking moron.
I don't know.
It's all this passive voice language that he uses in this that really stands out to me, right? Like, Eric is not the kind of guy to use passive voice if he doesn't absolutely have to. If it's not for some kind of like promotional thing that he wants to avoid all of the other shit that he's known for. Or, you know, like this is him with his media training cap on this video. You know, it's just clear as hell. And that means that he's saying this stuff for legal purposes.
Why did it play out in public? Never mind.
On what they wanted to be the outcome, despite this being such a hyper divisive world.
Wait a minute, dude. Again, Eric's opinion on what should be the outcome was, we will never settle. We will fight for this, right? Like,
and now he's trying to act like this was like kind of like the thing he wanted all along or something. And it's like, no, man, he was fucking gonna fight it. He didn't want to give an inch because that's not in his nature. And that's the other reason why I know that this is just fucking legal statement. This is like included in the agreement, the confidential agreement, is that he had to say certain things to kind of like soften the things that he'd said about Good Shepherd before.
Glad he settled, but that was the messaging. He said that the ministry was wrong. He's questioned their godliness. He calls them men of God now. You want to go back? Do we need to roll back the tape to when he talked about how could a Christian ministry possibly sue another Christian, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? How could they sue anybody? Question their sincerity as a Christian. And again, I hate doing this.
Yeah, we can go back right now.
That a Christian organization would do such a thing and bring us into a baseless trademark lawsuit.
Whoops.
Nope.
Yeah, try that again.
That a Christian organization would do such a thing.
Christian organization would do such a thing. And he says that multiple times in that video. And then in this one, he's like, oh, we're both men of God. And, you know.
It's a joke. The only thing that's not a joke is
social issues or the political landscape. No.
the only thing that's not a joke is Eric's fantastic seat. It's fucking gold.
Yeah, he's got a really
work
good
on his microphone setup, but like the seat setup is fucking brilliant.
Yeah, this whole thing. Well, we're at 3 hours and 4 minutes, and I need to go and do some stuff. But you know, you get the idea. I've got a video coming up. I think I'll have it ready. It's not a traditional video. It's one of the fucking stupid meme videos that I make, but it's gonna be good. That'll be Friday on Live AF. We'll have fucking Blurred Ernie. Is gonna be on with us, and it's gonna be a good time. Last show of the year. Probably look back at like some best comics of the year, best Chud cringe of the year. I still need to organize getting these chuddies off the ground.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, the chuddies. That should be fun. You should work. Yeah.
Rakita also capitalized off of her. Well, yeah, a lot of people did, man. There's a lot of
yeah. That was fucking Andy Signor's channel for a while. Was just that shit.
Yep. Nonetheless, I just whenever I think about how much Eric is having to fucking eat crow with this, well, it makes me feel like this.
I have. I have. Come. I have come.
Oh my god. Good for him. Good for him.
Good for me.
I think, yeah, he's saying it like it's an achievement. It's like, oh,
I have.
Congratulations.
I have. I have. All right. Well, this is
getting stupid.
All right. Nobody asked where Turf is. I guess nobody likes him anymore. We'll tell him. We'll make sure he knows.
Who?
Yeah, exactly.
What?
Yeah. Who the fuck is he?
The fuck?
Who is that guy?
Let's make up names now.
I want to point out that in the I want to point out in the intro thing that I made for him. There's one moment that's especially fun. In fact, we'll just end the stream on that so that we have a little bit more Turf in our life. Unless you had something you wanted to look at.
No, that sounds good to me.
Where is it? It's called Merry Turfmas. Here we go. Okay. So I just whoopsies. That's too big apparently. It's too big. Can't upload it there.
I see. I know what you're trying to do.
All right. Here we go. What you promoting? You got a stream tomorrow?
Oh yeah, I'm streaming tomorrow. First stream back in a couple weeks. Last stream of the year. It should be fun. I'm looking at probably doing some literature job. Oh my god. Yeah, I think I am done. Yeah, I'm looking at doing some literature devil. Probably some more fun stuff. I was also thinking of maybe looking at the actual issues with Disney rather than what these guys love to talk about.
Whoa, there's no issues with Disney. It's a perfect company.
Oh, it is? Well, shit. Maybe
you want to get
be a
paid,
short stream then.
Don't you want to get
a short stream then?
No, that'll be good. I'm looking forward to that. I want to hear what you guys say about Literature Devil as well. Yeah, Turf is on vacation, guys. He's fine. He's how these Scandinavian dudes, they get like 70 weeks a year vacation or some shit.
I believe they get 30 weeks vacation a year.
Yeah. I should also kind of cover this because anybody that watches my channel on a regular basis, you're going to notice there's going to be a fixture about the channel for the next year. I'm committing to it. It's not going to be every video or anything like that, but it's going to be a lot, okay? Because I've avoided talking about my favorite fucking comic book superhero, not for any particular reason, except that when I did cover it, I wanted to do it in a way that, like, really, paid respects to the man, the myth, the legend. Because it is now, as of 2024, it'll be 50 years of this motherfucker been around.
I'm excited to see Slapstick again.
So yeah, this is gonna be the year of Bub. Wolverine, like all through the year, man. I'm gonna be doing like multiple fucking videos on this guy. And this kind of all started from me realizing that I felt like shit, and a couple of people asking what happened to the essay that I was working on and promoting, and then I just kind of got stalled and sidetracked on it. Because I want it to be great, I want it to be like the best video I've ever fucking done. And if I don't feel like that's what's happening, then I'm not going to do it. But I don't have to make every video that I make about him the best video I've ever done. I can just talk about him for whatever reason. And in fact, on the Fapcast, what we're going to do is 50 years of Wolverine, 52 weeks in a year. Presumably there's going to be about that many Fapcasts. There's going to be like a 10-minute segment, 15 or so, every Fapcast, every Sunday, where we look at another year of Wolverine history and what happened to Wolverine that year. So like every week, we're going to get a year, like, just here's what happened in this year. Okay. And then move on with the Fap. But yeah, fucking love Wolverine. And I'll be explaining a lot about why that is. Some of it's kind of personal. Some of it's kind of, stuff that like I haven't really talked about before, but, I'm going to. So, yeah. Anyways, speaking of which, Fapcast, I think Sunday we're coming back. I don't remember. I got to talk to Morgan. I think we said yeah. I don't know. But here's Turf, and please subscribe to all the channels here that you see listed underneath whatever channel you're watching. Subscribe to These Nuts, and yeah. Man, I always like peter out right here at the end. Like I just I'm in the stream with energy. I'm just like, But yeah. All right, Bob. You have a good one, man. And talk to you
good
later.
one too.
Hey guys. Yeah, sorry, I have to go.
Do that. You sprinkle it on. It adds a little like spice. Actually, you sprinkle it on. You guys adds a little like spice.
How's that?
Yeah. It comes. You guys should try it.
Whoa! What's that? Oh, that's a shit. Why don't you go and subscribe to it? I dare you. I fucking dare you.
Like, I don't get offended by shit.
You guys should try it. What the thing where you like, right? You do that. You sprinkle it on top. Adds a little like spice. It comes.
Wait, why did it stop? Oh, what the fuck are you looking at? Subscribe and like this video. Back to it.
The Rippaverse isn't fucking going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I just fucking relaunched. For Cannon's sake, I'm not playing around. Get over it. Like my haters, man. I need there. But these guys are so fucking invested in my failure, right? Got these gay ass dudes. These guys are 40 and 50 years old doing nonstop damn videos about me. And I'm like, bro, get a grip. A lot of y'all got family. You got